Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believed me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic gotta say. I got them picking up the pieces. That mean you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitted for it, cause you all cap like. Hold up, I shoot my shot. I'm really about to run this go up. You know it's all net when it go up. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand, ayy. We on overtime, you don't need to understand, ayy. You just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play the same. Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing. Keep it moving, what we doing. Cause it can get bigger, cause it can get bigger, cause it can get bigger. Hey, please don't play no games with me, I promise I'm too much. Hey, I can never let up even if you had enough. Hey, this ain't for the faint of heart, we always playing rough. I had enough, it ain't luck. I needed a vision, I needed ambition, I needed a mission to beat in submission with no intermission. I see the collision, the crash in the distance, they coming off track, no. Now when they ask what's the motive, don't talk about the show, they all about to see what I mean in the moment. I gotta keep going, I'm shaking the dice and I'm keeping it rolling, they already know. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand, ayy. We on overtime, you don't need to understand, ayy. You just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play it. Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing. Keep it moving, what we doing. Cause it can get bigger, cause it can get bigger, cause it can get bigger.
All right. Salute. Looks like we're good. The connections are good. Everybody's in the building. Hit the like button. Clap it up one time. Maybe two times, right? Maybe two times. Salute to everybody in the building, man. Ramadan Mubarak. To all my Akis out there, man. It is that time of the year. You already know how we carrying it. If you are, if you're a Muslim, man, like I am, you know what I'm saying? We're fasting. We're dialed in. We're trying to keep the energy in the right space, man. Apologies for yesterday. Yesterday was a long day for me, as you guys can imagine. Shifting back over to my old schedule, as I had altered my schedule for about a week because some things were moving around in my personal life that I had to adjust to. But now we're back on point, back where we're supposed to be, heading into a great weekend of fights. This one right here may contest the Shakur Stevenson Teofimo Lopez card right here. This card in particular, really a stacked card, and a card that as time has gone on has become more interesting as we start shedding more light on the undercard, right, guys? We're talking more now, a little bit more about the Frank Martin and the Nihir Albright. We're talking about the Gary Antoine Russell and the Andy Hiroko, right? We're talking about all these fights on the undercard, the Oscar Duarte, Richardson, Hitchins, but still that headline card has a lot running off the back of it. Ryan Garcia, a lot of people are rooting for Ryan Garcia, obviously, to win because of what it means for the 147-pound, the welterweight division, what it means for Devin Haney, what does it mean for Shakur Stevenson, right? What does it mean for Conor Benn? What does it mean for boxing? It's a needle mover, and that's what makes these cards so interesting at times, right? So we're going to break down all these fights today. We got to get into these fights, man. Very interesting. I think we might have an upset on this card. They say on every card, which one is going to be the upset, if it's even going to be considered an upset. We'll break it down. We'll talk about all those things. In the news today, obviously we know today's a big day for Virgil Ortiz Jr. and as well as Oscar De La Hoya, as they should be in court today trying to figure out exactly how they're going to deal with Virgil Ortiz's situation. His team, without a doubt, looks like they're trying to make this fight happen with Jerron Boots Ennis, in spite of whatever Oscar De La Hoya's and Golden Boy's influence is on the conversation. They're in there trying to figure out today. Are they going to figure it out today? And will we hear later today or during the weekend or next week some announcements potentially of Jerron Boots Ennis and Virgil Ortiz Jr. figuring it out? I don't know. right? I don't know. I know it's a war going on outside, and as fans of boxing who are here for that part of the game, I think that benefits us, right? A competitive market, a free market like what we're in right now with Dana White and Zuffa Boxing and Eddie Hearn now re-signing his deal. By the way, congratulations to Eddie Hearn re-signing a 5-year deal. He says it's going to be about 30 or more fights or cards a year. Very competitive space. They're all trying to fight for our attention. And this is the best place for us as boxing fans to be, is right where we are in our seats as these promoters try to show us and prove to us that they're the must-see boxing. They're the ones putting on the most exciting and intriguing cards. And I'm excited to be part of this space right now. Creating content in this space is very fulfilling. It's an exciting moment for boxing fans. So shout out to Eddie Hearns, man, who may very well be the biggest promoter. And I almost want to just say he is the biggest promoter in the traditional boxing space. And now I have to say that, right? Because Zuffa Boxing is definitely not in a traditional space. They're carving their own lane. They've got a belt they're trying to introduce into the space. They have a business model they're trying to introduce into the space. Will that business model overwhelm and take over boxing, right? And that's what it's going to be. As far as we're concerned, so far the cards have been delivering competitive fights. We're hearing about new acquisitions. Dana White's announced that he's signing like 3 or so new American heavyweights. We've heard about Mark Masayo signing over there. So fighters are coming over there. In every event, you're seeing fighters pop up in the crowds. You're seeing conversations happening. We saw Teofimo Lopez sitting next to Nick Khan in the last event. So things are moving around. And Eddie Hearn, of course, the competitive bloke that he is making his own moves as well, announcing fights and cards and trying to put together and be part of the biggest fights happening in the space. Of course, Ring Magazine is also putting on this event this weekend, as they put on the Teofimo Shakur Stevenson card. I don't know if they're going to be involved with the David Benavidez, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. Is that going to be a Ring Magazine card or something else? I don't know, right? But there's so much going on. The UK is buzzing with boxing. And, of course, Oscar De La Hoya has to kind of figure out how his landscape of things is going to pan out. Ryan Garcia is saying this is the last fight. Oscar De La Hoya says, no, we have a lot more fights. You know what I mean? Virgil Ortiz is currently in the middle of a lawsuit with Oscar De La Hoya trying to get from underneath the umbrella of Golden Boy. Yeah, Oscar's got some work to get done, right? Oscar's got work to do. Hopefully he's doing that work, and hopefully it's in the benefit of not only the fighters, well, not only the fans, but more importantly, the fighters, right? Salute to everybody in the building, man. Take a moment, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel right now if you haven't done it. I think you guys know the experience here is a unique experience, right? I appreciate and I want to thank to everybody who supports this channel, supports me and what we're trying to do here. It's not an easy space to grow in. You know what I mean? The YouTube spaces can be you got to put your tunnel visions at times on when you're trying to create something that's your own opinions and naysayers and detractors and, you know, whatever fuels those kind of people to be in a position that they're in when it comes to a conversation about what's going on over here. Hey, man, I'm just happy the guys who are here, you guys, the people who support the channel, the subscribers, can find some benefits in what we're doing here, man, right? And so I appreciate and thank you guys. If I haven't done it enough, I'll try to do it more. To thank you guys for being part of this channel growing. Thankful to my co-host who helped me build content and help the conversation move forward all the time, on my friends and family. Thank you guys, man. You know what I mean? That being said, let me go ahead and shout out a couple of you guys before I bring the usual suspects in here. That's the name of my team. You know what I'm saying? I call them the usual suspects in the building. Shout out to the Pugilism in the building who has a little parlay on here. It says Albright Duarte, Antoine Russell, Barrios with the $20 parlay is 1,000 plus. Ooh, I like that. Let me see. Albright. So you got him upsetting Frank Martin. Oscar Duarte, you got him upsetting Richardson Hitchins. Antoine Russell, which won't be an upset. I think that's a good pick right there. And Mario Barrios with the upset on Ryan Garcia. So you just really, hey, man, you putting $20. You playing lotto. You playing lotto. I got you. I got you, man. A dollar in a dream for sure, man. 1,000 plus. Hey, man, we'll talk about it. Maybe you'll stick with that parlay. Maybe you'll switch it up, right? Shout out to Miss Van Houder in the building. Miss Van Houder. Salute. It's a pleasure to have you in the building. Thanks you for engaging in the chat here, having a conversation with the pugilism. Says she likes the parlay, but Barrios got me thinking, I know, right? We're going to talk about it. Shout out to Miss Van Hotter in the building, man. Let's see who else is in here. D Calico says, Ryan going to disappoint as usual. Will he? Maybe he will. Maybe he won't. We got to talk about it, right? Pugilism says the card is stacked. Can't wait. Me too, man. I can't lie, man. I can't wait either, man. Shout out to Raphael 32 in the building. Says Barrios, all day. Shout out to you, man. Raphael 32 in the building. Let's see here. Am I missing anybody? Sam from Jersey in the building, man. Sam I was like, where's Sam at? I'll be looking forward to seeing Sam. Like, I didn't see. I got a little nervous. Says salute Claymore Rain. Let's go. Let's go. Great boxing talk, man. We try, man. Fist of the Black Star in the building says it's time for Hitchins to move to 147. Ouch. We got to talk about that. That move to 147. How significant is that when we're looking at this fight? Hitchins under a strict 10-pound, no more than 10-pound over the weight rehydration clause. How is that going to affect him in this fight? He's already talking about going to 147. Is this fight right here going to show that Hitchins has been in the division one fight too long? Is this the fight right here? Is this the hair that breaks the camel's back? Or does he show up and show out here in potentially the biggest fight of his career at this point in Oscar Duarte? Real gamed Mexican, man. Strong, game, natural 140-pound Mexican and Oscar Duarte. We got to talk about that today. Let's see how that ends up panning out, man. I didn't get to see the weigh-ins yet today. I know they're done already, but I wanted to see what Hitchins looks like physically. He already was showing the signs of somebody who's been cutting weight. Did it get worse? Is this a good weight cut for Hitchins this time around? Did he take care of his business? Did the nutritionist do him justice? Is he going to be strong enough to weather the storm, to have the punch resistance to deal with the inevitable Oscar Duarte, who will eventually put hands on him, right? Eventually will. Just more than likely. The probability is there. Can Hitchins stay out the way of Oscar Duarte for 12 rounds and win on points? I think everybody would say that could possibly happen. What's the reality, though? What's the probability? I think the probability is that he's probably going to have to weather something, and we're going to see. Tomorrow will tell it. Hindsight is always a 2020 storyteller. Sunday we'll have a way better perspective as to what really was happening on this card. Shout out to you guys, man. Shout out. We're going to talk about it. Blaze pound for pound in the building. What's good with my guy? Blaze said Africa should stop Duarte. Man, Ryan stopped him with a lesser skill set than Africa. Hey, man, maybe. I don't know, man. Shout out to EMS 8602. Let me see here. Crazy that Golden Boy promotion is in court with one of the most humblest, loyal fighters like Virgil Ortiz. He's never been about stepping on anybody's toes. Something ain't right with Golden Boy Promotions. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I think it is weird. It's so funny because last night me and my guy Angelo was talking. We had a long conversation, and I was saying, man, where there's smoke, there's fire, man. There's too many of these particular situations happening with Oscar De La Hoya's promotional company, Golden Boy Promotions. It's very public. It's very messy. We've seen it so many times. Nobody is perfect. Nobody is clean of any type of scrutiny. People get tripped up all the time, but there does seem to be a consistent pattern of events with Golden Boy Promotions, with their big stars, with the Canelo Alvarez, with the Ryan Garcia, now with the Virgil Ortiz, and other fighters who have found reasons. Even Shane Mosley has his little angle about Golden Boy Promotions and how they end up on these conversations all the time. Not in court. It's not a good look, right? You're fighting your fighters in court to keep them on the promotional company. I know a lot of promoters who will tell you if a fighter wants to get out their contract and they feel like it's one way or another, they'll just let them out the contract, because they're there for the fighter so much. But, Oscar De La Hoya always finds himself, even with Ryan Garcia now, as Ryan Garcia seems to be celebrating that this will be his last fight with Golden Boy Promotions. Here comes Oscar De La Hoya in the interview. No, I'm actually, we have plenty more fights with him. He's in contract with us. It's like, man, talk about signing your rights away to the devil, right? I mean, that deal, it just doesn't seem to be aging well, especially from somebody who's pointing so many fingers outside of himself as far as the integrity in the sport and what's benefiting the fighters and what works for the fighters. I think it's interesting to kind of watch all of this develop, as he's the guy pointing the fingers, but he's the guy in court right now with fighters that are begging him to let them go. Yeah, I don't know how lucrative it is working with Oscar De La Hoya. I don't know, man. Shout out to Mansa Musa in the building. Says people never mention that B Hop left GB and the ship is sinking. Did B Hop leave G? What? Oh, wow. I didn't know. Did Bernard Hopkins leave? That is true. I've been questioning and asking where Bernard Hopkins has been, but I always kind of looked at him as a silent partner for the most part. I think in the last 2 years, we've watched him talk a lot, sometimes getting himself in a little trouble with what he says. But that is interesting. Is that true, Mansa Musa? I don't want to be pushing fake news on here, but I have noticed him being a little more silent than normal, right? And I've seen him at some different events. We'll talk about. I'm going to ask the usual suspect, my co-host, when they get up here, what they think about that. I haven't heard about that, but is that what it is? Wow, I didn't know, man. Wow, man, I did not know. Blaze Pound for Pound says Mario Barrios and Ryan Garcia officially weighed in 147, official for Mario Barrios, and 146.5 for Garcia, man. Yeah, listen, man, Ryan Garcia came in shape, man. He looks good. I'm not going to lie to you. He looks good, man. It is what it is. Oh, go watch B-Hop interview with Andre Ward. He mentioned it. Say less, King. I appreciate it, man. One of the best communities in the space, man. And he's starting the fight with a jet lag versus Antoine Russell. Not a good situation. Yeah, we're going to talk about all that, man, when it comes to Andy Hiroka and all that, man. But listen, man. Let's not stay here too long. I got to bring him up. You love to hate him. You hate to love him. It don't matter. They're the usual suspects. One of the most transparent co-hosts, panels in the building. You know what I'm saying? We don't agree on everything. Matter of fact, we disagree on a lot of things a lot of times. But one thing you're going to get is a very, very genuine perspective on the sport. And more importantly, you guys, right? The biggest asset to the channel, the subscribers on the channel, man. So sit back, relax. Let's bring them into the building, man. You guys see him, man. Hey,
yep.
Guys, salute. We didn't come on yesterday. How you guys doing, man?
Well relaxed. How about you, Angelo? What's going on with you, brother?
I'm tired, man. I was trying to keep Clay late last night when he was driving home. So I'm tired as hell, y'all.
Okay.
He's just as tired as me, if not more tired, right? Because and shout out to you. That's why I have to say thank you to you guys. Just like I said to the subscribers and the people who really support what this is here, what we're doing here, and what we're trying to create and what we're trying to see grow. I appreciate you. You know, Angelo, I was just talking to Ray on the phone, telling him, like, you know, at times, you know what I'm saying, we talk so much about so many different things, right? But mainly about boxing, right? We just love boxing. And yeah, I'm driving home, right? Coming from doing my long 3.5, 4 hour drive commute, and who's on the phone with me holding me down, bro, while I'm trying to, my guy Angelo, bro, and we're talking about all types of shit. We got into a crazy debate last night. That was so fun. That had me going, man. We were going in last night, bro. I think I won the debate last night personally. I think I won.
I
don't know.
I mean, he did for sure he did good. He was throwing out some facts. I still will not concede because it's going to end up being an episode.
No, we're not.
These times, right.
You don't, I don't look for the concede. I never do, and I never will. But I felt like I did well. This is what I.
It was excellent.
It was very good. Does well. He always does well. So when I get my moments, you know what I'm saying, it feels good. It feels good to have my moments.
I was gonna say for you guys who are listening to us live right now, and everybody who does the replay, we get a lot of replay gang, which I think is awesome, right? I think it's a very good listen if you're driving or you don't have the time to catch it live, but you want to listen to like a good 2 hours of actual news content, factual information, right? It's a very what was it that we were saying, Clay? Like we're very like Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless, Max Kellerman, type of
level up, man. Level up. This is what this is, man. This is three scientists in a lab, man. This is three scientists in a lab developing what the space needs, and that's what we do. We bring it from different angles, different sides of the streets, different backgrounds, different histories, and it collides with passion. And sometimes the passion doesn't mix. Sometimes we get a great product, and when the great all of it's a great product. But I'm saying at the end of the day, sometimes we got a great product, and it's just mind blowing to a lot of the fan base, man. And that's what we about, man. ATP. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, man, for real, man. I agree with you 100%, man. I think that's what it's all about. And it's definitely about the sport. It's definitely about the fight games. It's definitely about the sweet science. It's about what's happening inside that squared circle at all times. Man, shout out to Sam from Jersey with the support, man. $5 in the super chat. Always keeping the color going in the chat, man. Says, finally, 3 of my favorite boxing pundits back at it again. Yeah, man. Like I said to everybody, to all my Muslims, you know what I'm saying? Ramadan Mubarak, you know what I'm saying? Be blessed this one around. This is a new season. You know what the idea is behind Ramadan, man. So be wise, stay out the drama, stay positive, stay in the love place, man. Collect, you know what I'm saying? Make your fast count, man. Keep your thoughts clear and be reborn. You know what I'm saying? Be reborn. We go into the new year with a new energy and a new motivation. Let's try to keep that momentum moving forward throughout the year. Everything that we built inside these next 30 days, be able to continue rolling that out, man, into the year and hold on to it as long as we can until Ramadan next year, where we got to reset again. Because
right.
get past, right? But just do your best, man. Do your best, man, to hold it what you held on to. Hold it down, man.
Yeah, no, amen to that. Hey, so starting off right off the bat, as of 30 minutes ago, breaking news. It is official. David Benavidez versus Gilberto Ramirez.
Exactly.
It's happening here at the T-Mobile Arena. So T-Mobile's doing big things, man. Ryan Garcia's on it. You got Gilberto Ramirez versus David.
Wait. Slow down. You said Ryan Garcia's on that card?
No. Ryan Garcia's on the T-Mobile tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Oh, okay. I'm like, what?
No, what I was saying is T-Mobile's doing their thing because T-Mobile is our main arena here right now. I mean, Allegiant is obviously the bigger stadium, but T-Mobile always is holding down the events. It's helpful to the city here when you can announce it, right? Like you could say, that's why, I mean, there was that April 18th date that we were hoping that they were going to say Virgil Ortiz versus Boots Ennis, but unfortunately they're in another arena right now called the Court Arena.
Damn, bro.
It's sold out. Oscar is selling out the courtroom.
Wow. And I was going to ask you guys, my first question to you two is, what do you think about the fact that on the broadcast team for tomorrow night, the analysts is a partnership between Mike Coppinger and Shakur Stevenson? Shakur here.
Oh, they're bringing them full circle. Shakur is, first of all, shout out to Shakur Stevenson, man. I want to take this moment to just quickly say the growth in a young man into the man he is today, father that he is today, the maturity. We remember Shakur Stevenson 2-3 years ago, right? Shakira Twitterson, right? We remember how he was fed into all the negativity. And now he just seems to be almost as like he's literally taking over Terrence Crawford's place in the space. And not only with what he's doing inside the ring, but the example he's setting with the maturity and having these conversations with Stephen A. Smith and, like you said, now squashing whatever it is with Mike Coppinger, how mature of him to the point to where they're going to co-host or, commentate together. Yeah, man, Shakur Stevenson is just very proud, man. And becoming more and more of a fan of him every time he rolls out like this. You just starting to resonate with him more and more, man. But definitely, man, shout out. But yeah, that doesn't shock me. Him and Mike Coppinger doesn't shock me. It would have like 6 months ago.
Yep.
It would have. But right now, seeing how Shakur's been carrying himself, I think it's awesome. And once again, becoming a trendsetter, trailblazer. Like, I am the biggest star in boxing. I am boxing. I am it totally, not just in what I do in the ring, but just he seems like he's on a campaign to just show like on all cylinders where it go.
What I like about it is that we're getting, like you just said, Clay, all that in this, right? So Shakur has shown 100% that he's been a problem for Mike Coppinger, has been back and forth. Like Mike Coppinger had his things, but I think the maturity, I think this win has humbled him so much. This is something that he needed to move forward with his career, away from all the nonsense and the uphill battles. And I think he even silenced Mike Coppinger to a degree where he's like, look, Mike, this is who I am now. You know what I mean? Like, thank you for recognizing finally who I am. That's all I wanted was your appreciation. Now that I got it, here we go. And it just seems that we are right now in the right space for him. Like he's doing everything that we need. just to double down on what you said, like as a boxer, to create fans in the space, to move boxing forward. He is becoming one of those, as Clay would say, he's becoming a real live representative of boxing. And he's doing it on all fronts. And I think like we have a nice line of boxers that are actually taking the helm. I think Shakur is definitely in there leading the charge with other boxers. But I think he's at the top of the game, rightfully so. And I can't wait to hear how he commentates. And his vision is impeccable. So I can't wait to see the breakdowns and listen to him.
Yeah, no. What I'm most excited about is that it's kind of cool for me to when we've heard Shakur break down like, hey, future opponents or whatnot. He doesn't say too much, but he says a lot because you can tell he's a very analytical thinker when it comes to being in the ring, right? And now, as an audience, we get to hear him talk about his division. Because look at who's fighting: Frank Martin Albright, right? Duarte Hitchins,
right?
Garcia versus Barrios, all possible future opponents for someone who is we're living in the Shakur era. And I know certain people don't like it when I say it, but I'm sorry. When January 31st hit and he did what he did with Tio, we're now in the Shakur Stevenson era. Like it or not, you could call him easy work if you want to, but at the end of the day, you got to sign a contract to fight the so-called easy work. In my book, though, Ray, I'm going to keep standing on it. Shakur Stevenson is, I know he gets compared a lot to Floyd Mayweather, but as Shakur said, he is the Shakur Stevenson of his era right now. So let's see how far this 28-year-old can take us.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited, man. Dialed in, man. You guys catch the Stephen A. Smith, Shakur Stevenson interview?
Yes, some of it. I caught the highlights of it, but yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, man. Like I said, man, such maturity in him right now, man. You just want him. He's representing the sport, man. He's setting the standard, man. And shout out to a certain degree, Terrence Crawford, to a large degree, right? Who obviously Shakur is never shy about giving the respect to as somebody who's been a mentor to him, a big brother to him, and who's influenced him to be the way he is. And, I think we all talked about Terrence Crawford fighting Canelo Alvarez. That victory really just kind of ushered in this era of boxing where you're seeing these fighters now just see an obligation, right? They're carrying it on their shoulders. We got to carry ourselves better. The professionalism, we have to be better. So you're seeing the Shushu Carringtons, you're seeing Xander Zayas, you're seeing these Abdullah Masons, the younger fighter, the next generation that are embracing, the integrity of the sport. They're embracing that part of the sport, which I think we kind of steered away from a little bit, where the fights were the fights, but the integrity of the sport wasn't held up to the highest level as it seems like it is now, man. Shakur had some great talking points in there, talked about obviously the Teofimo Lopez fight. I thought it was very mature of him to continue to try to celebrate Teofimo and thank Teofimo for giving him an opportunity as far as not only at his title and at the lineal championship, but being that Shakur was somebody who was frozen out of the game, finding somebody who was willing to finally give him that opportunity. He couldn't help but be thankful for that. What you guys think about that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought that. Oh, go ahead, Ray. I'm so sorry.
I was gonna say, we want payday. We want payday. I know that. I know. Shakur has turned into his own market, and that's a blessing in itself, right? We have fighters now looking to fight Shakur because they believe he's a bag. It's no longer him having to chase the uphill battles. He has arrived, and his plane has landed. And let me tell you, he is stepping on gold carpets, not red, and he is stopping everywhere he wants with free amenities everywhere. So he's getting the full luxury treatment in the boxing space right now, and it's just a salute to him. You know what I mean, to see him come so far, especially a kid from Jersey. I just have to show nothing but respect in the highest regards to this kid, because he's doing everything right now. He's really turning himself into a new person, and I love it.
Yeah, and to speak on that, gentlemen, like, he is the face of boxing right now. And I was talking to Clay about this, where I said, look, man, we saw plenty of wins in 2025, plenty of very significant historical type wins in 2025, but I didn't see any of them get invited by Stephen A. Smith or any of the mainstream people. I did, however, see Shakur Stevenson on Stephen A. Smith, CBS. Like, he's becoming that silver medalist, face of America right now. It's all aging well, right? Him crying when he got the silver. This is all aging extremely well, and we have a golden boy of USA boxing right now, and like it or not, guys, I'm sorry, everybody wants to fight Shakur, right? It's like Oprah. You get a shot at Shakur, and
you know there's money in it.
Shakur.
And you know there's money in it because he's a complicated fighter to fight against. He can make the fight look boring. He can slow it down. And a lot of fighters were complaining about this like last year that they didn't want to give him the chance. But now, the opportunity may just be too big to walk away from. Like getting a fight with him is something that you just got to take your chances on. There's not a lot of people in the space right now that are offering opportunities financially, legacy wise, as much as a Shakur. Now, obviously, Devin Haney, Xander Zayas, David Benavidez, these guys are all in the same conversation. They're all in the race. I don't know if Shakur seems to be in the lead right now in the race.
Yes,
I think it's close, very close.
No, it is. It is. It's a race. Like these are the guys that are in the conversation. Shakur just coming fresh off of his moment. On January 31st, he does seem to have that momentum going. But Xander, of course, doing what he did with the halftime show and unifying and being the youngest unified champion. Devin, of course, is all over the place right now. Conversations happening about who he's fighting next and where he should be. And Bill is on a media campaign tour. They're doing such a great job over there. We're all excited to see what that's going to turn into. And David Benavidez, with this announcement right now, going against Zurdo Ramirez May 2nd, which is a big deal if people don't understand. David Benavidez trying to take those Mexican days from Canelo. He's putting his vote in the bag. Like, hey man, take a look at us. We're going to be delivering the biggest fights on Cinco de Mayo weekend and on in September during Mexican Independence Day. All these guys are fighting for it, and we're all excited as boxing fans to kind of watch it come through. And of course, the promotional company wars are going on right now. I'm loving it.
My gosh.
The other day we're celebrating Dana White and what he's doing over there at Zuffa and that press conference he had. And here comes Eddie Hearn in the most competitive. We know him to be this competitive guy. He's not going to take it down. I don't think 24 hours went by. And Eddie Hearn comes out and he's like, he's throwing shots at Dana, of course. And that's easy to do, right? Like throwing the shots and trolling but
that's what Oscar does. That's easy.
Exactly. Right. But here's what Eddie does different than Oscar. Here's what Eddie does that makes him a legitimate op of Dana White, which is he moves the needle as well. So Eddie Hearn signs a 5-year deal with the Zone, right? This on the back end of a Rock Nation deal, right? With the promotion.
And don't forget Fox. Don't forget Fox too.
Right. And with Fox, exactly. This on the back end of that renews this 5-year deal, 30 fights a year. I mean, what do you guys think about that from Eddie Hearn as far as him doing that and not in response to Dana White? Because I would think he would do it anyway. No. I think there's an argument here to say that Eddie wouldn't be as motivated and as fired up as he is in moving if Dana wasn't there. But still, Eddie's always been the guy who's moved the needle. But what do you guys think about this new 5-year deal, man, with Eddie Hearn, man?
Yeah, well, let me go first real quick, right? Because I got to get all of this out, man. So, as you know, we did a special episode talking about what Dana said was really the first time Dana White shots fired, right? That was the first time Dana finally responded to all the things. And I don't want this weird narrative to get out there that Dana started this war. You know who started this war? It's Turkey. The day Turkey signed with Dana and was doing the TKO thing, he said, we're going to crush everyone. And I remember Dana even specifically going on record going, hey, Turkey's kind of crazy. He's saying all this stuff. We're not ready to announce anything. And he was trying to take a step back. Eddie, on the other hand, already being maybe, I don't want to call him the jealous son, but he's kind of like, yo, bro, what's going on? I thought we were cool together. Now you're doing this thing with Dana. So then he responds by saying, I'm here for it. I hope it's this way. This gets my juices flowing, right? And from that point on, you guys will remember, Eddie kept little digs at Dana. Hey, that's his world. but now you're coming into my world. If maybe I was going to MMA, think about what people would be saying about me. And Dana's trying. Again, Turkey starts the war. The first person to really get it going is Eddie. The whole time, Dana's not really saying much other than what we would call an American campaign. You're trying to reintroduce to your shareholders the U.S. market. You're going on Forbes. You're going on CNN. You're just explaining, here's what I'm going to do with Paramount Plus, blah, 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 blah. And then he starts signing people, right? You hear about Usyk. You see Jai get signed, right? Then Ryo signing. And then you're like, okay, Zuffa 1 happens. People, start doing their digs. Zuffa 2, as you remember, Ray, quite an impressive show, right? Very impressive. And everybody's like, wow. And then Zuffa 3 just went off the charts. And I say that to say not a lot of even boxing hardcores knew who those fighters were. You know what I'm talking about, right? Not a lot of them even knew. And yet the show did so well, not only on a mainstream level, but even on a hardcore level where they were like, oh, man, those guys are pretty good. I'd like to see more. That now I think that, I don't know if Dana fired the shot a little early, but I think that when the questions were being asked, like, what's the pushback you've been getting? That's the first time we see Dana go, pushback? What pushback? Right? Now the war now we're here. Of course, man, Eddie had to come back and go, you're hitting me below the belt, bro.
Right.
You telling me that the only reason why I'm here is because of my dad. You got a dad, son. You wouldn't even be around if the Fertittas didn't back you. You wouldn't even be this big right now if Turkey didn't back you. And I got to throw out, because again, Eddie, you guys know that I've been a big Eddie supporter too, right? And people were hating me about it. And I was like, I'm sorry, Eddie's the biggest promoter in America. I don't know why you guys hate me for saying that. He's got the best fighters that are up and coming, whether it's Ray Ford, Ammo Williams, Booth Ennis, right? Like you guys are hating me for saying this last year, right? Now we actually have someone like Dana who's going heads up against him. This is just better for USA boxing, period, right? I'm absolutely loving all of this. So I got to say that when someone has said to Eddie, well, Eddie, don't you work with Turkey too? Isn't he your daddy also? Eddie's answer was very telling, bro. And I can't wait to hear Dana's response to it. He said, Turkey's not my daddy. I just signed with the Zone. Those 30, 40 shows I'm about to put out, Turkey got nothing to do with them. I'm the boss. But Dana, he got a boss. I'm the boss. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Here we go. So you tell me, Ray, are you as excited as me as a fan base that we're going to get the best boxing now with two promoters going heads up?
Yes. And I'm going to tell you why I love all this, because at the end of the day, what we have to really expect is that we have two different sides of the coin. We have both TKO making it right. And I'm going to shout out Terrence Crawford for this, right? Because Terrence Crawford got on this stage. He came out, he started working with Eddie. He started working with Turkey, and he started moving the needle. Him making the big fights has made it all possible for today's generation. Once he retired, he took his whole generation of boxing out the window. I hate to say it, Canelo's still boxing, but he's now in the back seat, right? We have all these young fighters there. And now you have Zuffa, perfect timing. While we have all these young fighters and younger fighters, the next generation moving up, he's grasping horns, right? He's grabbing the talent. And then you have Eddie Hearn, who has this current generation. He's working with Turkey as well. So with these things combined, you have, like I said, TKO at the top, two branches, two different platforms, two different styles of promotion, working with the same parent company to put on these fights and making a killing in the sport. This is going to be, to say the least, and I'll shout out Queensberry, PBC, Top Rank, and all those, because they're all under, work with Eddie as the main promoter of all these cards, with Riyadh and Ring. But this is just becoming just so lucrative. It's not even a monopoly. It's just boxing at its best. People crossing streets, people diving in, people putting on shows. everyone's game has stepped up. Well, Matchroom's game has stepped up. Queensberry a little bit, but Zuffa's game is pushing the game to step up. The other people better catch on quick. They better grab the coattails of Mr. Al-Sheik, TKO. They better grab Nick Khan. They better grab a coattail of Dana, because this is where boxing is going, and this is where the future is going to be, and this is how we're going to see the current generation with the next generation clash and give us the best that we need to see. And I appreciate it. Trust me. I'm gonna leave it there because I'm not going to go get the Titans right there.
Go ahead, Ray.
No, I was just gonna add, and I know you're gonna have something to say about this too, Clay. But don't you guys find that the landscape is really interesting now, because you do have two major powerhouses, right? It's kind of like back in the day when we had the WWF, right, and then we had the other one with Ric Flair. Yeah, exactly, right. We're watching both. We're watching both, but who's who, right? And the funniest thing to me is they're all under one guy who's putting all the money, man. It's Turkey. Turkey's 10% of the zone is owned by Sella. I think it's like, I didn't know it was 60%. I thought it was less than that, but a majority share of TKO is with Sella, right? Mm. And it's all being driven. So guys, don't be fooled. This is the narrative that I know I've been talking about to Raider Nation forever. I said, look, listen, boxing is going to be a top 3 sport in America again. Just wait. Probably by the time we get to the LA Olympics. And this is the reason why. Saudi money came in. Turkey Al-Sheikh's a big fan. He funded it strong. He started showing everyone best versus the best. Shout out to Terrence Crawford for being really one of the first people, if not the first person, to say, screw these promoters that keep holding us back, Errol. Let's put this together, right? And then that kind of got the ball rolling to best versus the best. And now we're in an era where you are seeing these fights now, right? So, Clay, I want to hear, like, isn't it exciting? Aren't you excited, bro? Like, where's Top Rank Fighters going to go? Where's Golden Boy Fighters going to go? Where's PBC Fighters going to go? Because the one thing Eddie Hearn did say is, if you're a promoter and you don't have a TV rights deal, you're dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what it's all about, right? And that's and I'm glad you're saying that, because that segues exactly into where my thought process is going into as far as what Turkey's really done. Obviously, people know my position on Turkey from year and a half, 2 years ago, when people were just upset at me calling out I think was always the elephant in the room, which was a lot of money coming from this country, very wealthy country, into this sport that without a doubt was in need of a catalyst of some sort to kind of get things going. Boxing was heading in the wrong direction. It was dying. It was moving slow. And what do I mean by that when I said it was moving slow? Maybe fans don't really grasp what I mean by that, because maybe a lot of fans came in during this time like, what? This is I love watching Tank fight. I love watching Errol Spence fight. I get it, right? Me too. I love watching those guys fight. But what started happening is the network started jumping out of the sport. They started making their way out. Showtime got out of boxing. ESPN has gotten out of boxing. And American boxing, in comparison to what was going on the world stage, was becoming where boxing wasn't significant over here anymore. And a lot of these fighters just weren't getting the opportunity, just not having the dates. I mean, we have to just be honest about that. When PBC rolled out with their new deal with Amazon Prime, one of the biggest questions I asked was, well, what exactly is the structure of this deal with Amazon? Is Amazon going to be funding these fights? Are they going to be providing the dates? And we saw it. Even though they were projecting 12 to 14 events in that first year, they came out with 5. And that was very telling. How do you have a roster of 200, 300, 400 plus fighters active in 5 events? So some of those fighters were getting pushed out to the pro boxes, who was doing their thing. Shout out to Pro Box, who was a big part of keeping it alive here in America, and still is today, growing like they're supposed to. A lot of those fighters were going over there to Pro Box and trying to make it happen. We saw Erickson Lubin over there, for example, Lamont Roach, Pro Box, a Pro Box creation, Lester Martinez. Pro Box has been doing their thing. But what Turkey did was he came in and he jump-started everything. He put the money into the sport. He made it a big deal. He put the big events on. And I think the networks jumped on that and became a little bit more interested in the sport. They didn't want to get involved with the old business model that had them holding the bag while promoters were getting out there getting rich and doing all those different things, and they weren't making any money. But they saw that the American space had been stirred up. The pot had been stirred, and the fans here wanted to see more boxing. The question was going to be, how are they going to deliver it to us and make it profitable for everybody this time around? Not just the fighters, not just the promoter, but also the networks themselves. In comes Turki Al-Sheikh with the innovative idea to bring in Dana White. He said, look at what Dana White has done with this UFC model. He's made it successful. They're about to get a brand new deal with Paramount, which we see at hindsight, $7.7 billion. And let's go ahead and put Dana in position right now and give the networks something they can believe in, which was very important, because the networks weren't able to believe in the Al Haymans, the Bob Arums, the Oscar De La Hoyas. They didn't believe in that and their way of approaching the sport anymore. Turkey infused money into the game, infused interest, infused dollars, not only in the fighters' pockets, but in the marketing, dropping the video games, coming with the themes for the fights, doing everything he thought he could do to make the boxing game more interesting. And it did bring in a casual fan base. Now you add Dana White to that formula with what he's doing. And yeah, the space has become way more competitive. So you're going to see Oscar De La Hoya with his clapback Thursdays a little bit more. He's focused on Dana. Although he wants to make it seem like it's failing, or he wants to dismiss what they're doing over there, the mere fact that he's bringing the attention every Thursday to go at it with Dana White shows you, read the room, ladies and gentlemen. He's seen the writing on the wall, right? And even amidst his own issues, right, that he's dealing with, being in court, fighters trying to get away with him, he still finds time to focus on Dana, because that is probably the most important thing to him that needs to go away for him to run his business. He's not even concerned. I'll go to court with this guy, go to court with this guy. Public enemy number one to the traditional boxing space, that business model, the pay-per-views and everything, is Dana White, who's come in now on the back end with Zuffa Boxing. He's doing his thing. He's coming. It's a very different model. It's in its infant stages. There's going to be growing pains, but the presence alone has made an Eddie Hearn step up and be like, you see how he feels about it and how he's going about it. We're just winning as a boxing space when the space looks like this. And like I said, the best place, the best time to be creating content and to be covering this sport, in my opinion, right now, prime real estate, man. And we're all over. And shout out to the whole community, man. Up, down, it's going to be a roller coaster ride, but I'm excited to see what we get at the end of it. Dana promises some big milestones at the end of the year, and I can only imagine what Eddie has planned.
Look, guys, you know how we like we tend to throw things on this channel, and then it ends up coming to fruition. So I just want to I'm going to throw it out, Ray. I'm just going to throw some stuff out. First of all, we are very, very aware of the 3 United USA boxing heavyweights that signed to Zuffa that they're going to be announcing, and all we can really do, right, Clay, Ray, is speculate on who it might be. But how interesting would it be if it is former world champion Andy Ruiz making his comeback, right? Nice name to add to your roster. Plus, Jared Anderson, straight out of Jersey, right? If I'm not mistaken. Isn't that Ohio, my bad. Cleveland, sorry. Midwest Mafia. And then Michael Hunter, too, is sitting there, as a part of his family pedigree. That's really nice. But Eddie, man, with his Australia deal, it almost made me go, damn, dude, why didn't you just re-sign Jai? Because you're back on Australia free TV now, and Australia is a huge market. So it's just, I think that if you are a combat sports fan, period, 2026 is your year. You're going to find it free on Netflix, maybe free on Paramount.
Maybe even a bigger year, man, because at the end of the year, when all this comes together, man, I'm expecting a big clash, man. I'm hoping that it's inside of a ring.
So I got to ask you this elephant in the room then. Are we paying $80 for Thurman Fundura when it comes up? Are we going to start? Is the market changing? I mean, what are we doing?
I'm not doing it. That card is horrible. The card is not a good card, man. It just isn't. It's not a good card.
It's crazy.
Especially, I mean, like, you guys know my burger theory, right? I love a good burger. I do. I love a good burger, man. But you start charging me some crazy amount of money for the burger, man, it's going to change the whole palette is going to be, I'm tasting all types of why I'm going to be complaining about this burger. And I don't want to complain about a burger. I want to enjoy my burger. Give me a fair price for a burger so I can eat my burger with my fries, have my milkshake, and I can enjoy it. But if you start charging me $150 for my burger, fries, and milkshake, you're ruining it for me. No matter how good the burger is, it's not going to be good enough. And I think when you do things like that, when you take a card like what I just saw them announcing as an undercard to that, and you add a price tag of $70 to $80 to it, you ruin the whole experience. I won't be participating in that. They need to evolve. They need to read the room better, and they need to figure something out that makes sense for the fans, man. By the way, hearing that David Benavidez and Zurdo Ramirez will be a PBC card, right? That's what it will be. Right? That's what I'm hearing. It'll be a PBC card, so PBC pay-per-view, of course, but that one may, be worth its well, let's see what the undercard is, right?
That's true.
And the Cinco de Mayo, I'm good with that one. But Keith Thurman, Sebastian Fundora, boo. That being said, I definitely want to segue into these fights. We're about almost an hour into this, and we got so much to talk about. But those are the current events. Just wanted to kind of touch up on based on that. And of course, Virgil Ortiz. We'll figure out what happens later on today or during the weekend. What comes about at the end of that whole entire situation, which I think is in its infancy. I think we're going to be hearing a lot more of that. But I digress. Right. At the end of the day, we got a huge card coming up, gentlemen. We've got Oscar De La Hoya, Golden Boy Promotions, linked with Ring Magazine, with Ring, which is amazing as he's tearing down. Yeah,
weird.
First of all, that press conference yesterday was weird and awkward. And even Showbiz had to say there was a lot of awkward moments in it. It wasn't very exciting. Probably one of the most exciting moments in the whole entire press conference was between Richardson, Hitchins, and Oscar Duarte, which we'll talk about in a minute because I thought that was very interesting. I like how Oscar Duarte's English is coming about. He's getting better with his English. Shout out to Oscar Duarte. But Oscar De La Hoya clearly on a narrative mission, right? He's up on this stage with Ring Magazine underneath him, a Ring Magazine belt in front of him, sitting next to the Ring Magazine, some sort of president, vice president, somebody, right? And Mr. Versace. And he's wearing a green and white suit, conveniently, of course, as he gets up on the microphone and celebrates this WBC iced out rapper chain. I guess, this is, I'll leave it at that and leave it to you guys and give me your perspective on what it looked like to you as far as Oscar De La Hoya was concerned. Before we actually get into the card, I wanted to kind of talk about that for real quick. Just land your plane. What'd you think about the WBC campaign? Oscar De La Hoya, the most beautiful belt in the world, right? Oscar De La Hoya. And we can find footage of Oscar interviewing with Shannon Sharp talking about the belts are worth nothing. You can go to a flea market and buy a belt. The Ring Magazine belt is the greatest belt. But how quick the tides change and turn as he's on a card being financed by Ring Magazine, not by him, a big pay-per-view fight that he's going to make a lot of money off of, and he's up there celebrating this belt, which shout out to the WBC belt. I do think it's one of the best looking belts, that green, gold. I love that belt. But Oscar De La Hoya, right? Pushing the belts. What you got?
I mean, for me, the crazy thing, Ray, is Oscar De La Hoya was such a legendary figure as the athletic boxer that he was, coming off the Olympics in '92, winning the gold medal. And we're very familiar as boxing pundits and aficionados in the sport where we praise Oscar. We go, oh my gosh, he's such an amazing fighter. He fought everyone. He really brought in an era. He ushered in a mainstream era of people to want to watch boxing, right? He was like the Backstreet Boys of boxing, where little girls started wanting to watch it. Mom started wanting to watch it. So I'd like to think that someone who was that good and that intelligent, winning that many weight classes and divisions as a promoter in this space would be smarter. But a lot of the moves that he makes me wonder, bro, are you still on something? Because you straight up said on your Clapback Thursday that Ring Magazine is officially done. The show you're promoting, Oscar, is being paid for by Ring Magazine because it's called the Ring High Stakes, because Ring Magazine was the very company you owned that you sold to Turkey so that things could get better. Am I bugging, Ray? Is he snorting something? Why are you biting the hand that feeds you?
We might be bugging. I don't know. We gotta look at it across the board. Maybe we're bugging. I don't know. But from my seat, no, it doesn't seem like you're bugging, but maybe we are. Maybe we're missing something and we're not reading the room.
Oscar has a funny way of doing contracts, right? We've just seen that. Who knows?
Yeah. It's very interesting. He moves as he sees fit, as he needs to be in the right position. Well-dressed man, and always, has something to say to me, very artificially flavored reading, just speaking on your fighters. He has to read, this card will be a great card, as we have no originality, nothing authentic about him. And, he would, if you listen to him, you would have you believe one thing, but unfortunately for him, in my opinion, gentlemen, you're gonna have to show and prove, and it just doesn't look good when you're in court with a fighter like Virgil Ortiz. When you got Ryan Garcia telling the space that he's going on free agency, he'll be out of his contract, and it seems like if you don't have these contracts and you don't have these fighters by the balls, that you don't have anything, because most of them are trying to get out the way. And even with shout out to Mansa Musa telling us about Bernard Hopkins potentially moving on from this situation, it does seem like a sinking ship. What Dana says does seem to have some relevance. It does seem like it's not going well. It's going in the wrong direction. Your network deal seems to be falling apart with DAZN. You're trying to steer us towards what is it called? What's the new network that he's promoting?
I don't even know, bro. What is that?
Swerve, a very zesty naming network. Swerve. I don't know what's on Swerve. Never heard of Swerve. That puts Tubi into perspective. Shout out to Top Rank.
Yeah, hey, shout out to Top Rank.
We were making fun of you guys. We got to pull back. We clearly it can be worse.
Right.
Shout out to you guys.
Sorry, guys.
Hey, bro, we can all be humbled. We've been humbled. We apologize.
Yeah, right. So I just want to say, on top of this, it just, and I'm with you, Angelo. It cringeworthy, like, to see this guy who was the golden boy, the guy that was the love of the sport, the guy that was supposed to be the next best thing, literally carried the whole sport on his back for 5 to 6 years, and to turn around and just treat the sport the way he does as he's growing in age and just looks at it as a money grab, it's all signs pointing to this. He just doesn't seem to care about anything but his pockets and his lifestyle. It doesn't seem to care about the sport. It doesn't seem to care about anything but what makes it look good for him and where's his next check coming from. He's always against the grain. He's just totally crossed out, as Chris Cross was, right? Like that's the group, right? Totally crossed out. He's just a different animal. He has no respect and no loyalty, man. And this just shows you, why would anybody want to go over there? This is why we're seeing this guy grab his tiger shorts and literally run into the woods with him, because he knows this is his back against the wall. And he has no choice but to do whatever he can to save face. And he's not even trying. He's doubling down on everything negative about the sport. So what is this guy up to? What is his plan? I don't know. I don't want to kick his back in. He's doing enough of it himself. But it's just
that's the truth.
It's just enough to say the least.
No, it is right.
Yeah.
Like, he's definitely kicking his own. He's definitely kicking his own back in. And just to kind of like, I'll land my plane on this just to say that he seems disconnected and delusional about the intelligence of the fan base.
Right.
Some of the things he does and he says, it's like, I remember Cat Williams made a joke one time about being at these parties and people would just be sitting there and they do a line of that white stuff right in your face, but they do it in a way where they're looking around like nobody's seen him do it. And Cat is looking around like, I just saw you, right? Like, clearly, like, did you think you did that like inconspicuously, or was that, what was that? That was weird, bro. Like, everybody saw you just do that. That, right? What? What? White stuff on his nose. What are you talking about? I didn't do nothing. Like, what?
Right.
No, bro. We totally saw you do that. And it seems like Oscar's in that place right now to where he's, I remember him trying to sell the Errol Spence Virgil Ortiz fight. Think about it. Errol Spence, Virgil Ortiz, Dallas Cowboy Stadium. We have options. And I could just imagine Virgil and Rick Meridian sitting at their crib like,
what?
Where'd that come from?
You know we're listening to you, right?
What are you telling to the people right now? Nobody wants that. Nobody wants. He just came off of. He hasn't been active in almost 3 years, bro.
Right.
We don't want to fight him right now. But there he is. There he is in all his own belief in his own bullshit, trying to sell us this snake oil, and he's back at it. You know what I mean? He's doing what he was doing yesterday, and how weird that was. Once again, just kind of double down in a Ring Magazine event, an event you couldn't do on your own, trying to sit there and dismiss that and still have a conversation about how something is failing.
And again, like we don't want anyone here to feel like, okay, so we're using our show to kick Oscar down. What we've always done on this show is just give you guys straight up what's happening, right? Like, here's the info. Do with the info what you will, right? And I know that we get kicked in the teeth a lot for that, right? For just saying what it is. But what it is right now is you have Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, who has a television rights deal, and over the next 5 years is going to be giving us at least 30 or more contents globally. We have Dana White in Zuffa boxing along with the UFC, who's going to give us content for the next 7 years, right? Those are the two. You got Oscar de la Hoya, who's supposed to be working for Ring Magazine, and yet he's spending more time promoting Mauricio Suleiman, who's under a lot of scrutiny right now, and the WBC over his own fighter, Ryan Garcia, who, by the way, is trying to get rid of him, on top of the fact that, how about that you're going to court today, bro, with your best fighter in Virgil Ortiz. And I want to make sure I say this, because I was critical of Virgil Ortiz, but Virgil, the fact that you're doing all of this makes me know that not only are you not scared of fighting Boots Ennis, but I think in your heart of hearts, you believe you will beat him. And that is extremely commendable, and what boxing needs today. On the line to go get what he wants against the boogeyman of the division. I hope it happens. Eddie, do us a favor, bro. Go to the judge and do what you need to do and make this happen.
Figure it out, man.
Gosh,
in spite of, shout out to Virgil Ortiz, definitely, man. In spite of the adversity, man, we wishing you the best, man. Hope that you figure that out, man, and hopefully we get an announcement about you and Boots that'll make us all smile as fans.
Right.
With that being said, not a very super exciting press conference, but at the end of the day, there was an exciting moment in the on the press conference, and I think Oscar Duarte and Richardson Hitchens may have stolen the show a little bit at the press conference. But this fight right here, man, all jokes aside, this fight right here is serious business. Richardson Hitchens defending his IBF title for a second time. That rehydration clause always floating over Richardson Hitchens. When we're talking about him, we got to talk about it because he seems like he is outgrowing the division.
Oh my God.
Talking about going to 147, and he's tried his best to steer clear, from my perspective, from fights like this, and trying to make the fights that make more sense, where he can be more comfortable with that rehydration clause. But he's in there with the real one, and Oscar Duarte is going down. I don't know how he looked at the weigh-ins today, but
I sent you a video of how he looked during the press conference. It was like a back video where they were showing what him and Oscar Duarte were talking about, like behind the cameras. And I'm telling you, Clay, that's why I was saying, anyone who wants to believe me on this, plus 400, you get 4-1 money. If you put 100 in to Oscar Duarte, you will get $500 back. I am telling you, man, it's a pretty good bet.
I ain't supposed to be betting, Clay.
Just because I don't know if Hitchens for real was able to do this IBF rehydration. I don't know, Clay. And I saw what I saw on the Fountain Blue with Litmus. I know you're telling me that was a hard weight cut for him, but bro, the only thing
he's telling us.
Okay, well, okay, okay. But I'm just saying that the only thing that changed from that 2024 fight with Litmus to now is he got older. And last time I checked, Ray Davis, it's harder to cut weight when you get older. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Oscar Duarte, on the other hand, is learning English in the best way possible.
Shout out to Oscar Duarte, man. I love when I see the learning the language, man. Learning the language, and the best language to learn, as Richardson Hitchins is speaking on betting, of course. And you know, this is an edge that Hitchins tries as of late. He's been on that, right? I want to bet. Let's bet. I want to bet. He's trying to bring that edge in. Shout out to Jake Paul, who I think really started that in a big way, right? Like Jake Paul was really the one out there trying to make everybody bet. And now everybody's on the wave. And you know, Oscar De La Hoya's laughing at him because he's like, bro, I don't know. Your boy Edgar Berlanga tried the same thing.
Oh, hold on. I gotta stop you, Clay. This is too big. Breaking news. According to Zuffa Boxing Instagram, Conor Benn signed to Zuffa Boxing. Boom, baby!
Try to find something on that, Ray. Try to definitely find something on that.
Ray, all you got to do is go to Zuffa Boxing actual.
He's looking at it. He'll pull it up.
Oh my gosh!
That's kind of crazy. If that's what happened, that's crazy.
He's shaking Conor Benn.
I don't want to jump into that. Yeah, I want to make sure because that is huge for Eddie. That is a shot. Yeah, that's a big shot at Eddie, man. This is a war. This is coverage worthy. This is a legitimate fight between Eddie Hearn and Dana White. This is a boxing match. This is legacy boxing right here.
Oh boy. What we got here?
Wait. Everybody calm. Ray's gonna pull it up. I don't want to just give him a second here. Let me land the plane on Hitchins right quick. Try to, because that is huge news. Hitchins has had all these excuses, not reasons, excuses, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to downplay him, but he's had a very interesting past 2 years in the boxing space with the fights he's made, and he's all of a sudden become the money man. That's why he looks at himself, the big star. And we saw Edgar Berlanga go on the same path on the back end of getting that Canelo Alvarez fight. All of a sudden, you couldn't talk to him. You know, I mean, I'm a big star. I'm a superstar. I mean, all this talk. He seems to be walking down the same path. This fight right here, the true litmus test of who he's going to be. My question to you guys is this a fight that's going to show up to be the fight where it's one fight too many? You know what I mean? We've seen some fighters stay in the division, one fight too long. People say Errol Spence stayed at the welterweight division, one fight too long against Terrence Crawford. Is that what this is looking like is going to be for Richardson Hitchins?
We're still talking about Hitchins, right? It might
be crazy.
I'm telling you, no. Clay, you said you can get it through email or something. I might email this to you so we can show it. There's the actual video showing Dana shaking hands.
Hey, I'm going to be honest with you. If you listen to Conor Benn in his interviews lately, he has been indifferent with the way Eddie has been embracing Shakur. He talks about it. He said it. He said Shakur. He's like, hey, Shakur's his man. And he's picking him against me. He didn't like that, bro. And he smiled it off in that interview. He smiled it off.
And let me just say, there it is, right there. Okay, so first of all, again, I know you guys, some of you guys be calling me Reyes White or whatever you want to say. But let me just say, if you wanted to ever respond,
put that back up, Ray.
If you ever wanted to respond back to Dana White, while Eddie Hearn, bro, you were busy. Doing all your little whatever you want to call Dana. Dana behind your back, brother, was busy getting your boy, who you helped become a star. Eddie, you helped this kid become a superstar.
During his PED thing, stood by him, defended him, brought him back.
You were there for him and made him the biggest UK star. And Dana White, straight behind your back, bro, stole your guy.
Or in your face.
I don't know. I mean, I will tell you right now that Wood versus Warrington has now just become what the hell just happened with Conor Benn, Eddie? And can you please respond to what we just saw? Because let me explain something to you guys, right? And Clay knows and Ray knows this. I absolutely love Conor Benn. I think Conor Benn is the biggest star outside of the U.S. for boxing next to Anthony Joshua. He's only I think he's still under 30, or he might be 30 right now, right?
Yeah.
But to have this guy be your Zuffa guy, the very man who said the only real belt he would have cared about because it's his dad's belt was the WBC, but he's always said, I don't care about belts. I care about fights. I care about fighting the best fighters. And this is about to be the next, I don't know if it's 147 or 160, but who freaking cares, bro? Conor Benn, welcome to Zuffa Boxing. I absolutely love it. What say you, Ray Davis?
Oh, my. So, listen, I'm going to double down on this because I've been saying behind the scenes also, man. Ryan Garcia is on his way there, too. Right? And the reason why I'm saying that, because this is the fight they're going to make. He was talking about fighting this guy.
So wait. Don't cut you. I don't want to cut you. I'm sorry. I promise you, fast and right back at you. Is this what Ryan means when he's talking about the free agency? Is he talking about leaving traditional boxing and going over? Go ahead.
Bro, I've been listening to Ryan. I'm glad you said this, Clay. I've been listening to the things he's been saying, the way he's moving, some of the like little key words he's been saying, right? And I'm like, this guy's going to Zuffa. Why? Opportunity. What's the opportunity there? To get a belt, to become a ring champion, to do all the things, and still have big fights once he gets to the top of the list. These Conor Benn doing the same thing. He's putting them in a perspective. You heard Conor Benn say, if I don't get this fight with Rolly, I'm out. Guess what Eddie hasn't done? He hasn't secured that fight. Why? Because Rolly doesn't want to fight this guy. So Conor Benn is already on record with our guy.
And potentially has lost the fight with Ryan Garcia to Shakur Stevenson, the fighter who he's accusing Eddie of celebrating more than him. And Shakur is not a matchroom fighter. Legitimately, I think Conor Benn has a legitimate gripe with that, how that looks, just on the optics, right? Just the optics of, I'm your fighter. Well, how are you out there coordinating a fight with Turki Al-Sheikh to have Shakur Stevenson fight my fight that we already got Mauricio Suleiman to say I'm the mandatory for? You're going to skip me and put Ryan Garcia in a catchweight fight with this guy. He has a legitimate argument.
With
Eddie Hearns.
And guess what? Paramount's going to get busy. You on mute?
Yeah, so no, go ahead, Ray. Go ahead, Ray.
Listen, Paramount's about to get busy because you heard them saying, we're going to start expanding outside of Vegas. We're going to start going to start moving this business, and you guys are going to see us grow. This is huge. Listen, they got Australia market.
Australia,
right?
New Zealand,
right?
Yes.
Now they just captured the British market. Because let me tell you something. With the signings of the heavyweights, I've also heard, and I didn't want to spoil anything.
Don't do it.
I've also heard that Anthony Joshua may be moving to Zuffa as well, right? Tyson Fury may be moving to Zuffa. These are the rumblings that I'm hearing behind the scenes. So I'm just putting it out there as a speculation at this point. But if we see these guys move there, listen, man. Game over, checkmate. It ain't even been a year. It hasn't even been a year. Not even 6 months. And this stuff is happening. Guys, buckle up, Buttercup, because this ride is getting bumpy.
And here's what, and again, Clay, I know you don't like to take the victory laps, but I do. So guess what? Guess what, everyone who was shitting on us way before we were even saying, hey, this is a good thing. This is a good thing that Turkey's working with Dana. Hey, this is more positive for the fighters. Hey, this gives them more leverage to get the most money they can get out of their worth because boxing is such a short life. And what was I getting? I was getting nothing but hate, right, Claymore? Oh, man, that's the Zuffa guy. He getting paid by Zuffa. This, that. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You know who is for real getting paid by Zuffa? The biggest star outside of the U.S. and the U.K., and his name is Conor Benn. I cannot wait, Ray Davis, until after the Saturday night because Ryan Garcia, come on down, baby. Come on down.
If Ryan Garcia goes over there, bro, that is going to change up a lot of, especially the conversations we've been having lately.
Oh my God,
you're about to age like wine. Your takes are about to age like legitimate wine.
Thank you, Claymore. And Claymore, Claymore, first of all, can I just say, because we've had so many of these private conversations, and I would say to you, I need you to remember that you said that to me on this private conversation.
Yes.
Because, and all my stuff. So when you speak of Zuffa and you happen to mention my name, Clay, could you please speak kindly as to how I'm a genius?
Talk to him nice. Talk to him nice. That's what you got to say now, Angelo. What you got to say is, see, you got to add a little bit of swag to because we talk about this, right? The victory laps, and we have these conversations, and I try to be, but all you got to say is, I need you guys to talk to me nice. That's all I'm asking you to do. Talk to me nice. Stop talking to me the way y'all been talking to me, because all I'm doing is culminating years and years and years of experience, of witnessing, of being part of some of the biggest movements in combat sports today that people just don't know about, because we don't
talk about it.
It's on you, really. You're the one who
don't
want.
No, I mean, shit, man. Whenever you're ready to do the other one.
Okay. No, but you were legitimately stopping me from doing that. Right. Literally, like, hey.
Right.
I don't want you to do that. So I haven't been respectfully, right?
Respectfully.
But still with the understanding of all of that experience coming to the table, to be able to see the writing on the wall, right? To be like, I've seen this before. This is how it looks. And I've always said that it was going to be on the shoulders of the American promoters, right? To maneuver, come together, remove the cross the street politics, start focusing on making the biggest fights they could make to fight something like this. And here it is getting in the way. Conor Benn trying to be patient, but watching the politics of the sport shortchange him, right? And saying, I'm done with this model. This doesn't work for me anymore. I've done everything you said, Eddie. I'm in New York. I'm over here in America. I'm challenging the Americans. We got Mauricio Suleiman to cooperate and put me as a mandatory. Yeah, the space was rumbling about how corrupt it is, but I didn't care because I was on the winning side of the corruption. I was on the winning side of the politics. But now I'm on the other side. I'm tired of this. I want to make the most money I can. I want to be part of the biggest fights. I want to be a part of the next era of boxing. Boom, he makes a decision and he moves over to Zuffa Boxing. That's crazy.
And let me just throw this out, and I appreciate you saying all of that too, Clay, about all the things I've been correct about. I appreciate all you guys who know that I wasn't just blowing stuff up your butts when I was saying this is exactly how Zuffa's going to take over, or at least give a challenge to how USA Boxing is going to become he's competing with the NFL. That's what he's trying to do, right? But Conor Benn now, with the nutrition help that he's going to get from the UFC Performance Institute, I could see Conor not only fighting at 147, but remember, they don't have 154. So can you imagine someone like Conor Benn being able to fight for 147's first Zuffa title, and then after that, letting it go to go fight at 160 to be their first 160? I mean, there's so many. This was a genius signing by Nick Khan and Dana White. And not just to stick it to Eddie Hearn, but to take a versatile athlete who is still young in their prime, who moves the needle in terms of outside the UK. If I'm Eddie Hearn right now, Ray Davis, you know what I'm hoping doesn't happen next? Ben Whitaker going to Zuffa.
I don't see that happening right now.
No, I'm telling you.
But I got a little thing I want to throw in as a twist. Eddie may be on board with this, especially if you start seeing a lot of these British fighters going there. Eddie may be on board. I'm looking at the Riyadh season logo on this flyer. I know that Eddie is quick ties. I know Eddie and Dana really are not feuding, but they're literally just playing the masterpiece role of different sides of the streets. But what if Eddie's on board with this? What if Eddie's a second hand on this, right? What if he is the boxing stable or the traditional boxing, as Clay likes to say, side, and he knows what he's doing, so he can get these fighters over there. So this can actually be what we need for Ring Magazine, Riyadh season, super fights, right? He has something going. He just signed that deal. Why wouldn't he focus all his attention? Now, as you said, Clay, he showed this interest in the way Eddie's been treating him. Eddie just gave him 2 mega fights. Eddie basically secured that win with the well, I don't know, Conor Ben just fought. I don't know why I can't think of his name, but the rival, right? So he just secured the win over there with a guy who was dehydrated.
You talking about Chris Eubanks?
Chris Eubanks, thank you. He just secured it for him. He just gave him the biggest paydays. He sold out Wembley. He sold out other stadiums. This guy has been backing Eggate, every single thing for Conor Ben, and it's just boom.
Me and Angelo were actually talking about, you know, the reality of the fact that this is two sides of the same coin.
Yep.
And you know, people can look at it however they want to look at it, but what coin is this? This is the Turkey coin.
Yep.
Turkey is very vested in Eddie Hearn and what he's doing over there, and clearly we know how invested he is in what Zuffa is doing. I think the big picture here that people aren't seeing, and you know, we're going to talk about it here because that's what we do, is Riyadh season.
It
is
Riyadh season, baby.
This is about building up Riyadh season, building up championship boxing, building up this stable of fighters, and Zuffa is going to play its part in it, obviously, as they've made it clear that they're part of their fighters. The goal, we've interviewed the fighters over here, their goal is Riyadh. That is the Super Bowl. And Turk and Eddie Hearn on the other side is building up his fighters, and there will be a clash once to twice a year in Riyadh of the best fighters in the world fighting for the Ring Magazine accolades, for that lineal championship, the best in the world accolades that will be on that stage. And it will be a combination of fighters from the traditional side of the conversation and on the Zuffa side of the conversation. And without a doubt, Eddie Hearn is heading the traditional side of the conversation. He is the biggest promoter on that side right now. I don't see anybody bigger than him right now. So yeah, bro, I got it. I wouldn't be above them to be doing this, to be playing us in the back, playing the coin like, yeah, make them think we're doing it, but really this is all entertainment. Right. It's showbiz, baby.
And it is that showbiz, right? So much so that, Clay, it's not even the end of February yet, bro. We're just in the middle of February, going into the third weekend of February, right? And look at all the different storylines that started from our Tuesday show. Here's what Dana White says. It's like beating up babies. And then we go into the next thing that happens where, you know, Eddie Hearn's responding, right? And then we got this Ryan Garcia fight week with De La Hoya saying his thing. And then bam, dude, on the Friday right before weigh-ins, what do you think the biggest news is right now, dude? Conor Ben signing to Zuffa moved earthquake. It's a tsunami type of a move. I mean, imagine the Ryan Garcia question right now. Hey, Ryan, you know, you look good in the weigh-ins. Hey, did you know that Conor Ben just signed for Zuffa? Right? Like, all these questions are going to be flooding in. By the way, if I do now go to the fight, Clay, it's only so that not only can I watch the great fight that's happening at T-Mobile, but I'm going to try to sneak in and see if I could say hi to my new guy, Conor Ben. Welcome to the show.
I met Conor Ben before, had a little conversation with him before as well. Great guy, man. This is going to be interesting to say the least, man. Shout out to everybody in the building. I haven't said it, but you know, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it. Do that right now, and of course, hit the like button. Let's help just getting the algorithm where they needs to be. I know we're prime time, so shout out to everybody who is here with us. Thank you for being patient with us. Let's dial it back a little bit. Go ahead and pull that off the screen, Ray. And let's get into the conversation that's at hand right now. We were just talking about Richardson, Hitchins, and Oscar Duarte, and the significance of this fight for Hitchins, and the fact that the thing floating over this whole entire situation is that weight cut, is the rehydration clause, and we're trying to figure out and guesstimate and predict at this point what direction is this probably going to go into off the back end of this particular fight. I want to ask you guys, I left off asking you guys, and I don't know if you guys had a chance to answer it. Is this one fight too many? Is this one fight too many for Richardson Hitchins at 140 pounds? Will this rehydration clause show up in snake eyes for him tomorrow night against a very big puncher and powerful fighter in Oscar Duarte?
Nope. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. That's going to be his excuse. Oh, I just, you know, the weight was the issue for me. I couldn't. Those are the excuses. I just heard him say he had a nutritionist. I just heard him he's in the best shape of his life. I just heard him he can campaign there. I just heard him say the next fight may be Dalton Smith. I literally just heard him say that for unification. So for him to say all these things, to turn around if he loses and says, oh, well, I had a bad weight cut. You know, my weight is this and this is, man, you just lied to the public's face. And not only did you lie to the public's face, you've been blowing the smoke for years. And we know why you've been ducking the certain fighters that you've been ducking. We know why you haven't challenged yourself. And this is the reason why you keep getting caught in these situations with these power punchers and these fighters that move forward and can box. So this is what we're going to see. Now, shout out to Richardson Hitchins. I hope he wins. You know, my salutes go to you. But at the end of the day, I don't want the excuses, man. Leave them excuses. And
I mean, there's excuses and there's reasons for sure. Right. Shout out to Sean Phil in the building, man. What's good, man? Long time no see, family. I know you watching us and you're not big active in the chat, especially during the day. You're probably working, doing things. I always appreciate the love. Thank you, man. A dude I love on the panel when he used to come up, very intellectual, very cerebral with his takes. But let me read the super chat. I appreciate the $10. Says used to be a huge fan for years, UFC fan for years, knowing how they move. Don't be surprised if they acquire the other promotional companies. That's how the UFC grew. Pride, FC, WEC, Strike Force, World Strike. What is WSF?
Yeah, that was World Series of Fighting, Clay. That was on NBC.
Series. That's right.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's where Justin Gagey came from, Clay. Is World Series of Fighting.
No, I know what it is. I just couldn't remember what the acronym with the WSF stand for.
Hey, no, shout out to S. Phil. Thank you for saying that. It's funny that you're saying that publicly because me and Clay had a private conversation about that's what's actually maybe happening. Is there's so much money with the $100 million that's from Paramount that's being paid for only having to do 12 fights for Zuffa Boxing on top of Riyadh season's money helping. Right, there's so much money that a lot of the top-ranked fighters, like former world champion Kolmatov, Andres Cortez, Mark Magsayo, like all of these guys from Top Rank are starting to switch over anyways, right? So why not just get a piece of that money? If you're Bob Arum, if you're whoever, like why not take a piece of it and sell off, right? But I guess if they want to keep holding on and fighting, that's fine. Let me address this whole Richardson Hitchins thing. I know, Clay, you and I talked about this. It's a good bet if you're willing to take the chance that Richardson Hitchins isn't that guy. And all three of us are very supportive of Richardson Hitchins in the sense that we like your talent, bro. We want to see you successful. We want you to be everything you're saying you are. But until we see it with our own eyes, you got to prove it to us, right? Here's the good news, though, Hitchins. I'm going to give you the good news. You win this, and you beat someone like Oscar Duarte in where my colleague Clay Moraine said the way you're going to have to do it is to step up and use that jab and for real be the bazooka Ike Corte that some people are saying that you are and back Oscar Duarte up. If you have the energy and you weight cutted correctly to be able to do that, man, then I can't wait for you to be this IBF champion because now you could have a lot of different super fights, whether it's Dalton Smith, Shakur Stevenson, Gary Antoine Russell. Awesome. Or you could do what you've been saying you want to do, which is to move up and go get Devin Haney, right? That's great. The good news too, though, bro, is if you lose, welcome to Zuffa Boxing because it seems like that's what everybody's doing when they lose. T.O. was at Zuffa on Sunday. Caleb Plant was at the Zuffa arena on Zuffa 2. So there's no losing right now, Clay. If you're a fighter, all we want you to do is fight your hardest, and there is no losing. There's too many avenues for all of you guys to make money.
That Ray was saying something earlier, and I was going to say that as far as adding to the fact that the options on the table, all these fighters are entertaining what's best for them in their careers, and what makes sense. What's it's going to come out in the wash. If they've been in the best situations and the best arrangements, and they've been maximizing on their brand, they're going to stay where they're at. But the guys who are moving are going to move for good reason, and that's going to expose a lot about the boxing game and the facade of what's actually going on. The facade of what's happening versus what's actually happening. But this fight right here, coming back into this fight right here, Oscar Duarte, Richardson Hitchins. Yeah, listen, man, the rehydration clause floating over this whole situation. It's standing out. It is the elephant in the room when it comes to this fight, because here he goes going back into a fight like a Gustavo Lemos. A lot of people reference it. Shout out to Sean Zattel and Sean Porter. They had him on the show and they confronted it. Shout out to Sean Zattel for speaking directly to it, right? And saying, listen, man, Gustavo Lemos, pressure fighter, coming through, punching on you. We seen you hurt. A lot of people thought you lost the fight. I mean, Sean said he thought he won the fight. I think me and Ray called the fight at that time, and I think we thought Hitchins lost it. I'll be real with you. We thought he lost it. but the decision went his way. He pulled off a victory, and at the end of that fight, more importantly, even Hitchins started to reconsider his whole entire position on the IBF and fighting Subriel Matias. That was an eliminator. He didn't want to move forward and make that big fight happen with Subriel Matias, and he came back conveniently, of course, after the upset between Liam Paro and Subriel Matias, and decided to fight Liam Paro. Then he had a face-off, a conversation on camera with Subriel Matias, where that's another thing about Hitchins. He's never been scared to be. He's very transparent about his position, and told Subriel Matias, listen, I don't want to fight you with a rehydration clause like that. I'm just being honest with you. You know what I'm saying? And I couldn't believe he said that. But so that leads me to believe that this position he's in right now is a situation that he had to take it. He burnt the bridges with the Keyshawn Davis negotiations. He burnt the bridges with the Jermaine Ortiz situation, trying to get all of the money, and ultimately didn't have too many options left, even on the bad side of the DAZN Eddie Hearn situation, where he's still not signed to Eddie Hearn. And it seemed like DAZN was kind of, so didn't want to work with him. He's been blackballed to a certain degree, and this fight was a choice he didn't have. So that being said, going into a fight with a big puncher like Oscar Duarte, a big pressure fighter with this rehydration clause, if he is able to cut the weight properly and be where he needs to be, then yeah, Angelo talked about this last night as well. I think he's going to want to try to smother what Oscar Duarte does. He's going to want to try to kind of approach it with the Dalton Smith angle just a little bit, right? Now, Dalton Smith took a lot of punishment in that, so he has to be ready if he's going to try to smother and pressure Oscar Duarte to have some punch resistance. But you don't want to be on your back foot all night long, I don't think, with Oscar Duarte. I think eventually he cuts the ring off. I think that takes the leverage off of his punches, the snap off his punches on his back foot. He wants to continue to use those angles. I'm not saying he wants to just come forward, but I do believe the key to victory for Richardson Hitchins in this is going to be a little bit of, he's going to have to step to Duarte at times. He's going to have to throw what Duarte does off, take that edge off of his punches. He's going to have to keep him not be on the ropes. Don't end up on the ropes with this guy. Don't let this guy cut you into a corner and you're on the ropes and you're trying to catch and shoot with this guy. He can hurt you. We saw Gustavo Lemos do that to you, by the way, is the only reason why I'm saying that. And I believe Oscar Duarte is a way higher level of fighter than Gustavo Lemos. So he gets you on that ropes. It's going to be bad news. It's going to look very similar to Virgil Ortiz and Erickson Lubin, in my opinion. He's going to get hit. He's going to get buzzed. He's not going to have time to recover, because Oscar Duarte will not allow you to recover. If he sees you hurt, he's going to swarm you, drown you, and it's going to be, that's all she wrote. That's all she wrote. So it's going to be it can be a very easy, good fight for Richardson Hitchins if he's able to be as strong as he can be.
He has to be.
If that weight cut depletes him to the point where his punch resistance goes left, or even his legs, his ability to recover from a big shot, his ability to recover, right? He gets hit with a shot. Will he be able to come back in the next round and shake that off, or is it going to stay with him in the next round? He's still trying to find himself, and now he's in there with a shark in the water, right? In the ocean, all of a sudden.
Can I also add this real quick, Ray? I don't want to take this away from Duarte, because I've respected how Duarte has moved his career after the Ryan Garcia fight, and the way he's been moving with Robert Garcia now as his coach, right? And the way he's improved. I don't want to make it seem like if Duarte wins, it's because Hitchins lacked something. Facts. If Duarte wins, Duarte wins.
Facts.
If Hitchins wins, Hitchins wins. And so this might actually end up being fight of the night type of a feel, which is why this card is so exciting. I originally thought Hiraoka versus Gary Russell might be one of those fight of the night type candidates. I'm a little questioning the whole, he just arrived from overseas, so I don't know how he'll be. I don't want to take the win away from Gary Antoine if he ends up knocking Hiraoka out, which you and I had already kind of predicted anyways, Clay, that we felt like Gary Antoine had the power to do that. But this might be the barn burner fight of the night. Oscar Duarte versus Richardson Hitchins. So I want to make that clear, Clay, just so that people know we're not saying Duarte's going to win because Hitchins.
It's not about Duarte, and I appreciate you bringing that up, because Robert Garcia has to be recognized. Anytime he's stepping into the ring with a fighter, you have to factor Robert Garcia in the fight. He adds an edge to Oscar Duarte that he did not have before he was with Robert Garcia. So we got to remember how Oscar Duarte looked against Kenny Sims. He looked great. He looked good, man. You know what I'm saying? Kenny Sims was giving him issues, moving around the ring, using his movement, using his boxing. But Oscar Duarte was able to overcome that, cut the ring off on a very boxer first movement, slick black fighter in Kenny Sims. So he's shown that he can deal with Richardson Hitchins' athleticism and his boxing acumen. Now, is Richard Hitchinson a better boxer than Kenny Sims? There may be an argument there to say that maybe he is, but is he that much better to where Oscar Duarte is not able to overcome that and put Hitchins in some compromised situations? That fight's going to be very interesting. You mentioned the odds was like plus 400 for Oscar Duarte to win this fight. I think that is a legitimate good place to put your money if you're a betting man. If you lose it, be prepared to lose it, because I can see why Hitchins may be favored to win this fight in a lot of different ways. But once again, the elephant in the room is, who is Hitchins going to be on that night? And even with him being whoever he is on his best night, is that enough to deal with the pressure from an Oscar Duarte for 12 rounds?
Absolutely.
Right.
And I think him just going at it with showing how good he was with Maduerno, who was a pressure fighter, and Jojo Diaz, who can box in many ways. He's a guy. Jojo Diaz is not a guy who runs from pressure fighters, and he's not a guy. He's a guy that can also box and stand there with you, right? So he has two different skill sets that he brings to the table. And I'm telling you, man, he got he got literally washed off the board. I'm gonna use that word. Oscar Duarte is a really serious fighter, man, and we already seen him go. What he went 10 rounds with Ryan before he was stopped with a liver shot. So we're just here to say that this guy is really the businessman, and I don't see. Listen, I respect.
So real quick here, just on the panel.
Yeah,
who you going with, Ray Davis?
I see Duarte, man. I don't see anything. I don't see anything Richard Hitchinson has besides staying away and utilizing the jab to beat Oscar Duarte. If he surprises me and beats him with a knockout or something crazy, I would listen. All due respect, and like I said,
I feel you. I ain't mad at that.
But
I'm going with Duarte. I'm going with Duarte. I'm going with Duarte and possibly they might throw in the towel for Richardson Hitchins, because he's a tough dude. When I saw him in the Litmus fight, he was a tough guy. But Duarte's coming, man, and Duarte. The coaching is the difference for me, Clay. Robert Garcia, Robert Garcia knows what he's doing, and that's the difference for me. So I'm going Duarte.
Man, I'm caught up on this one here, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro.
Throw the rock
down, man, because I do see I see Hitchins. I can see him winning this fight. I see how he can win this fight. I see what it may look like, and I think a big victory here catapults him into his next conversation, whatever that's going to be. So I think he's putting it all into this camp. I'm gonna say that he did the right things, and that he cuts his weight right. It's hard for me, bro, because I see Oscar Duarte. I see the issues kind of coming, but I'm wondering if he was able to deal with it. Did he figure that out? Did he figure that rehydration clause out? I really believe that Hitchins in his best form does beat Oscar Duarte. That's what I believe. But he's talking about knocking this guy out, man. He's talking about hitting him with that power. Is that fear? Is he trying to steer Duarte away? Is he trying to finesse Duarte the way Shakur did to De Los Santos, for example? Is he trying to have him looking for that backhand the whole time and maybe that stagnates Duarte? Or is he really going to step to Duarte? I'm 50-50 with this one, man. I'm in the air with this one. You know what? Damn, bro.
I know it's I was the same way.
I'm gonna say with the odds, with the odds, I'm gonna encourage people to go with the Duarte side. I think it's just too sweet to leave on the floor. So, you know what I mean? Plus 400. This is a legit dude in there with Hitchins. But I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm gonna go 55. 45. I'm going with Richardson.
That's fair. Okay. No. And Clay, that's fair. I do want to just point out to everybody who does listen to the picks. Since the beginning of this year, I think every underdog that I picked so far have all won, whether it was Dalton Smith or any of the underdogs in the Zuffa boxing. So I'm just throwing out that plus 400 is too much money to pass up when you think 50-50 fight. And we all think this is a 50-50 fight. The odds don't reflect what we're seeing. It's the same thing we saw with Hot Rod versus Vosdik. It's the same exact thing we saw with Julian Rodriguez versus Sandoval. It's the same thing with Benito versus Ruiz or Mejia. Sorry. So yeah, man, this is the dog of the week. This is the dog.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys what to prepare to see. Good, clean punching from Richardson Hitchins, determination and bludgeoning from Oscar Duarte. A lot of body work from Oscar Duarte. He's going to try to sap that energy, and that's going to be courtesy of Robert Garcia. That's going to be Chef Robert Garcia giving you the protein on the plate, which is take that man's legs away from him. They're probably almost gone anyway. He don't like the weight cut. Punch him in that body. Make him move around. Hitchins is going to be clean punches in those first 1 to 3 to 4 rounds, maybe say 1 to 5 good clean punches. But the name of the game is going to be the championship rounds. Between round 6 and 12 is Hitchins going to fade out because of the conditioning, because of the weight cut, and Oscar Duarte just drowns him in those championship rounds? Or can Hitchins do something special enough, let's say within the first 7 rounds, to maybe even lose the last 5 to 4 rounds of this fight and walk away with a close decision?
I hope
Richardson Hitchins.
I hope for the best. Like I said, I think he just gasses out. I think he gasses out from the movement. I don't think it's so much I think Oscar Duarte will attack the body. It will stab him, like you said. You know what I mean? In-house style. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say what you say, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean? He's gonna be taking prison rules, as they say, right? He's gonna do what he has to do. And I think Hitchins is going to be well aware of that, but he's going to try to stay away. And all those exertions can, one, tire out Duarte if he's able to get out of the range and move and be quick, or he's going to get tired himself. He's going to run himself into a wall.
That's another thing. Will Oscar Duarte, man, will he overexert? Because shout out to Zero Given says, I like Hitchins' sharp jabs and footwork angles. Duarte downloads punch data, then brings pressure and body punching in the later rounds. The only thing I'm going to push back at Zero is I'm going to tell you, be prepared for him to be early. He's going to be early. Oscar Duarte will be early in this fight. He will invest early to reap dividends later. Prepare to see that. And that's going to be, once again, courtesy of Chef Robert Garcia, who's going to serve that plate of body work. He's going to have Oscar Duarte working very strategically. He will be very cerebral in this fight because they're going to acknowledge the strengths of Hitchins, and they're going to try to take away. And once they take away enough, they'll be able to take advantage of an opponent who's depleted and unable to protect themselves correctly.
And Hitchins better stab the body himself, man. I'm just going to tell you, he needs to do the same. He needs to get
that respecting that distance, that body work. That jab, with level stabbing to the body, moving, keep him on angles so he can't sit comfortably flat-footed and let them shots go up, because that's what that power is going to generate. And also, you're going to have to step to him at times and take away that pressure, because don't let the judges take this from you. Good, clean punches from you can look one way in comparison to ring generalship. Pay attention. Balance it right. You know what I mean? Let's move on to the next fight right here. Let's go to the undercard fight right here and go to Frank Martin and Nihir Albright. These guys are probably the runner-up to Oscar Duarte and Richardson Hitchins as far as that press conference was concerned. Frank Martin coming back super confident. Buddy McGirt now in Frank Martin's corner. Buddy said, look, I had Frank Martin for 3 weeks before the Rancis Barthélemy fight. So, that was, we were crunching. This one, we got the gel together. We got to make it happen together. We built a game plan. We know what we expect from each other. Frank Martin is very excited about what it's going to look like for him in this fight. He calls out Nihir Albright and says, man, I appreciate you, brother. You're going to be right there in front of me. You're going to fight me wherever you want to go with this fight. I'm prepared. I'm faster. I'm slicker. I'm comfortable at the weight now. I was at 135, feeling depleted at times. I feel great. And I think that means a lot. And to hear Albright on the other side coming from a victory over Kelvin Davis, some would say an upset victory, but regardless, took care of business inside of that ring. We've seen him in a great competitive fight with Keyshawn Davis. He's been somewhat building this momentum right here, trying to get back in the conversation here, and he's looking confident. Philly loves him. Slick, good jab, fundamentally sound fighter here. What say you guys on this fight here? What do you think?
Yeah,
we see he just missed weight, but it's okay. They both actually missed weight. 140.5 to 142.
Oh yeah, I see right here on the screen. Wow, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know they missed weight. So that's very interesting. But I mean, is that missing weight? Aren't they allowed to?
No. It's so what they did is they made it a catch weight.
Right.
And you saw how both of them are talking. I think that what makes this fight so interesting again is that Nahir Albright, his last win is against the Davis brother. And then we all know we're familiar with the incident that happens after that.
Right.
But Nahir Albright's been in there with some really top class opponent, right?
Mhm.
Frank Martin, his most highest class opponent at their peak is Gervonta, right? He did good early against Gervonta, and then obviously what happened. So I don't know. I feel like it is 50-50 in the sense that though Frank Martin looked good on his last fight, he was also fighting someone who's
way past
probably should probably retire already, right? Versus Nahir Albright, I think this kid's got a lot to prove, man. I mean, between the Davis thing that happened to him, and this is his shot to really get a win over someone with a big name in Frank Martin. Let's keep in mind that I'll double check, Clay, but I think Frank Martin at one point was in the top 10 Ring Magazine at 140. I don't know if he still is, but if the bet is good, if the odds are good, I'll double check. I would put some money on Albright. I just, it's 50-50 to me. It's a very 50-50, but I agree with what Mrs. Van Houter is saying that Frank Martin is extremely slick. He comes from a good camp. If smart, my IQ would say, my brain is saying, yeah, you guys should pick Frank Martin. But I don't know, man. My wallet feels like going to Albright if it's a big, underdog. So.
Wow.
Very interesting fight, man. What do you think, Ray?
Well, I'm just going to say I think the football talents of Frank Martin comes out in this fight. I think the footwork, the getting to the touchdown, moving forward is going to be the reason why. We heard him talking big about him coming into this fight, and he's going to stop him. He's going to beat him. He's going like Albright's like, yeah, whatever, bro. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? But he showed him respect. You know what I mean? He tried to build it up a little bit. Then he turned around and showed him respect. But I just thought it was awkward because it was just like you gave this guy your gusto. You gave him all your little like talking points, and then you backed out. I was like, yeah, man, I respect you though. Like, come on. Listen, we know you respect each other as boxers, but you got to build this fight. You was doing the right thing, and you backed down. Now, I don't know if he backed down because if it was some type of setback in his mind, like, yo, this guy ain't budging. This guy ain't as scared as I thought he was. You know what I mean? Or he backed down because someone tapped him on the legs. Like, don't do this. Just show him in the ring. Whatever the case may be, I do got Frank Martin on the stoppage in this fight, man. I'm actually going that far.
I love it. I
think he stops him in the 6th. I think Albright, who's a nice, good boxer, I think he leaves himself open defensively, and I think Frank Martin is the person to capitalize, just like he did with Michelle Rivera. I think he captures him with a nice left hook, and overhand left, and I think he drops him, man. I think he doesn't see it coming.
Yeah, So, okay, I know you. By the way, Reyes, you picking Albright or are you just 50-50 with it?
I'm 50-50 with it. Again, smart money is or smart thing to think of is Frank Martin. I don't think knockout, by the way, Ray. But I mean, smart thing would be Frank Martin wins by decision. But if you see plus 400 or more, I'd put money on Albright. Just because, again, man, Albright doesn't suck. Albright does not suck. And he's got a lot to prove.
His defense is open, though. He's just such an open gate in his defense. It's crazy.
Yeah, he keeps people at bay. Now here, Albright's able to do that, and I don't think he does that with Frank. I think Frank closes that void real quick. He closes that gap, and I love what you said, Ray, because I'm on the same page with you as far as that athleticism. I think you're going to see that show up in spades in this fight here. Frank Martin's going to be very athletic. Watch out for the angles. He's going to slip and get past that lead hand. That's what Nahir Albright's going to be counting on, is that lead hand to get that respect from Frank Martin. But I think Frank is going to do a good job of fighting short, keeping his head off the line. He's going to step. He's going to keep his feet where he's going to be, where it's supposed to be, perfect positioning. He's going to be able to turn, get inside. He's going to attack that body. He's going to capitalize off of getting inside. He's going to work the body and then come up top. He's not just going to go in there, stick to the body, and make this a pity-pat fight. When he gets in there, he's going to go to work. And here, Albright's going to be forced to time up a lot. He's going to be forced to be athletic himself. And I haven't seen to hear Albright be quote unquote athletic. He's always been somebody who's been able to methodically, have a methodical thing about him where he's been able to control the pace of the fight behind that jab. Keyshawn Davis and him, Keyshawn is very athletic as well, but Keyshawn was struggling with Albright. But was Keyshawn headhunting a little too much in that fight? Was he trying to build off that momentum he had for himself? I think that fight was a big fight for Keyshawn, matured him a lot into what we're seeing him today. But Frank Martin not probably going to make the same mistakes. He has enough work, and he has Buddy McGirt in his corner, who I think is a straight level up for Frank Martin. Frank Martin talks about Buddy McGirt and says the difference between where he was at before, which was with Derrick James, which, by the way, not to gloat, but I've been telling you guys for a while, I think Derrick James will be a very limited trainer. He does what he does well, but he doesn't do anything else but what he does well, is how I feel about him. And Frank Martin kind of spoke to it, saying that this guy is allowing him to be who he is truly, which is athletic, good footwork, not just attacking, knows how to get the angles, know how to set up shots, combination puncher. And we saw him show a little bit of that against Rances Barthélemy, who wasn't, what we already agreed upon, it was not in his physical prime. But I think this fight right here is going to be a Frank Martin victory. Will he stop Nahir Albright? I don't know. I don't know if he does, because Nahir is tough. But I think he does win this one. I think Frank Martin does the work and takes down. I think he dominates too. Unanimous decision. Yeah, no,
all good points, by the way, Clay, when you're talking about Buddy McGirt. And as you know, having gone heads up against Coach Buddy McGirt myself, all the things you said is very true. So if I was doing the Robert Garcia argument for Duarte, then I would do the Buddy McGirt argument for Frank Martin. That may be what he needs, just like you're saying, though, to win. But I still feel like Albright, man, make me a believer.
Albright just got the heart of the people right now. They love him because they saw he got assaulted, in Virginia. They saw him go into the backyard, the opposition's backyard and get a victory. And everybody jumps behind Nahir. But Nahir is a good fighter.
He's very good.
I think this one just might be
good footwork.
A little level above where he's at right now in his career. Personally,
his footwork's good, right? Like I said, it's just a lack of defense. I mean, just look how he was getting caught by Keon, right? That's Kelvin. Kelvin. He was getting punched on by Kelvin. He just happened to just be the better boxer that night. He just had his defense wasn't solid. His boxing skills was solid. Like when you talk about his offense and his footwork, kept him in the game. But it wasn't like he was like clean. He was a clean slate in that fight at all. And that's what I'm saying. This is something that we have to really pay attention to. Even his last fight on Showbox, he had a fight on Showbox, and he did the same thing. He was like, he was able to win the fight, but he's able to be hit.
No doubt. Well, let's continue to move it. We got to go because the time is crunching on us. So we got Frank Martin, 50-50 from Ray's Boxes. Let's go into the next fight here. Gary Antoine Russell, Andy Hiroka. This one for Gary Antoine's WBA title. Guys, whenever I talk about Gary Antoine Russell, I can't help but say it, man. Lack of activity, man. I'm just so tired of seeing this guy not as active as he needs to be. But we're glad to see this fight finally come to fruition. It's been pushed off a couple of times here. One time because of the Lamont. Well, every time because of Tank, right? One time was the Lamont Rose Tank fight that didn't come together, and then the next time was the Tank Jake Paul fight that didn't come together. But here he is now getting to defend his WBA title. Look, he's been doing interviews lately. He wants to get on all the champions. He wants to unify. He wants Shakur Stevenson. He wants all the biggest fights he can have. But he's got a gamed opponent, Andy Hiroka here. Is Andy Hiroka? He's out of Japan, right?
Yes.
Japanese Andy Hiroka, because he just got this tan look to him where sometimes I think he's Filipino.
He's black. His father and mother's black, right?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
Okay. That makes sense. So Andy Hiroka coming in here, very gamed opponent, man. Super gamed opponent. Both guys have made their weights. Gary right on the 140. Andy Hiroka 139.5. I think that what's floating over this fight here is the elephant in the room is that the visa issues that Andy Hiroka was going through. He ended up having to touch ground here in America in Las Vegas like 2 days ago. So, the acclimation, I think in a perfect world, he would have wanted to be here anywhere between 10 to 14 days before the actual fight to acclimate. I think it's a 15 to 17 hour flight I'm hearing, from there to here. So he just touching down here. how do you guys see this fight going? I think it's I personally have said that I thought this could potentially be fight of the night just because of the nature of both these guys. But there's got to be a winner. There's got to be a loser.
Yeah, no,
what do you think?
I originally was with you. I thought it would be fight of the night, but with this whole flight thing, I feel like Gary Antoine's going to win by TKO. So I think he stops him. I think, and this is why you and me, Clay, we had such a I want to say it was like almost 3 hours when we were doing our ratings debate. But this is why I was so I'm not satisfied, Coppinger and Ring Magazine ratings panel, that you guys didn't put Rayo Valenzuela on your top 10 at 135. Not satisfied at all. But Rayo, for losing his 140 belt to Gary, took punishment that I don't think Hiraoka will be able to take. So I think it'll be a stoppage by Gary Antoine Russell.
No doubt.
My thing is Gary fight, since we last seen him in the ring, does he fight like the Gary before El Rayo or the Gary that fought El Rayo? That's going to be the question to me. I don't think it's so much of a big difference with the day-to-day transfers over. They're only what? They're out west already, right? And that's what, like a 12-hour flight from California to Japan. So it's not like we're
international dateline.
I know, but what I'm saying is it's not like we're flying from like New York to Japan. You know what I mean? Like,
have you ever flown to Japan?
Listen, man, I haven't even flown to Australia. I'm planning on going to New Zealand, but
let me explain something to you right now. If I had to get in here 2 days to prepare for my fight, do the weigh-ins, and I had to fly out of the way, it's rough. It's rough.
I can say this, right? He's been training, and those were travel days. Those are all planned out. So he's already did his training. So if I'm guessing it's all travel situations, he's been training.
The travel planes got messed up. He was supposed to be here way early. He was trying to be. The visa issue stopped him. This was he was derailed. He didn't plan on this. This was.
But what I'm saying is right. But knowing that's happening, did that stop him from training? Is my question. No.
But it's the body's physical ability to acclimate to the new territory. It's a different. It's not just about. There's no preparing to get. That's why they come here early. Is because that's what killed Ryan Norman Jr. a lot. That's why Bill was talking about. You know what I mean? When Bill was talking about, like, it's about. Yeah, I don't. It doesn't look good for him. I ain't gonna lie, man. This is.
Well, we'll see. At the end of the day, we'll see, because I think he actually does put on a good show. I think he loses. I think he loses the fight, but I think he does put on a good show. And I think the fact that he had to deal with all the things that he dealt with, it is what it is. I think he comes out, and now he may gas out. He may gas out in the fight. I definitely got Russell winning this fight.
Yeah, how?
TKO.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Why you taking so long, right?
Yeah, the time is crunching down, but at the end of the day, I agree with you guys. Gary Antoine Russell by knockout. I don't want to make excuses, but I think that flight is going to play its part. I don't think Andy Hiroka is in his best form. I don't know that he would beat Gary Antoine Russell in his best form, but I think it could affect the fight as far as the competitive nature of the fight. I think it's going to be difficult for him to weather that storm. Gary's fast. He knows what's on this. He's very motivated. Him and his brother, Gary Russell Jr. are melted together. They've done a great job in that camp over there. Gary Antoine Russell, maybe the best thing that ever happened to him was that loss against Alberto Puello, because he is a different, motivated, dialed-in, focused fighter. He's not looking past any opponent that's in front of him. This is a dangerous Gary Antoine Russell, and quite frankly, may really be in the conversation for boogeyman in the division right next to Dalton Smith. Matter of fact, that probably could be one of the biggest fights that could be made in the division. That's another conversation. I think those guys are tailor-made to give us something insane if they ever got in the ring with each other. But let's go into the main event, man. It is what it is, right? The main event is Ryan Garcia, Mario Barrios, right here. This one, a lot on the back end of this. Mario Barrios, defending his WBC title, has been on a draw campaign, just drawing against Manny Pacquiao, drawing against Abel Ramos, right? I'm saying, and it really just has not stood out. Always looked at as the weakest link in the 147-pound conversation as far as champions are concerned. But this one right here for Ryan Garcia gets his second chance at life. We know he was on the outs with the WBC, finds himself in a situation where he's getting his a title shot off the back end of losing a title shot that he had with Rolly Romero. He seems super motivated. We saw him at the weigh-ins, man. He looks great, man. Physically looks like one of the best versions of him that I've seen in the longest time. He definitely has the motivation and all the incentive there to go ahead and make this performance count, to become a champion for the first time. He says he's going to do it for his dad. Says this one right here is to make my dad proud. Seems to have all his ducks in a row. What say you guys on this fight, and how do you see it turning out?
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying this is what, as you know, Clay, I've been very adamant about my Ryan pick. As you know, I'm a fan of his talents, and I'd like that. I always like to see. I always like to look at the boxers and say to myself, what can be the best version of you? Because I'm rooting for the sport of boxing. I'm always rooting for the. So if I say to myself, what's the best version of Barrios versus the best version of Ryan? Ryan wins. Ryan wins every time, and Ryan wins by knockout. So I'm sticking to that. Ryan's going to win by knockout. I think that all the intangibles of him training with his dad, him, he's talking about God. He's talking about how he wants to make his dad proud, right? It'll be something that'll make him happy. And there's that little bit of inkling of him that you saw in the press conference where he was mentally messing with Barrios by saying, I know everything that Goosen taught me, like these drills and that drill. And you can almost see in Barrios's face, kind of like, oh man, that is all the drills I was doing. Right. But Ryan's saying, but he doesn't know everything about me at all. And I think we're going to see that. I'm looking at, you know what I think too, by the way, I think Ryan's going to knock him out, and it'll probably be a TKO stoppage, but it'll be because of the right hand. It'll be left hook to the body, right hand, bang, just like how Abel Ramos got him. So not a lot of people give credit to Ryan's right hand, but Ryan's right hand is what dropped Duarte. Ryan's right hand is what makes people back up. The left hook is what they always think's happening, but it's the right hand, man. That's quick. It has almost no telegraph to it at all. So I think right hand, bam, Ryan Garcia, baby, for the TKO.
Oh, interesting. I'm glad you put this out there, right? I'm looking at what the media is saying. I'm listening at Oscar saying, you ain't going nowhere, Ryan. I'm looking at Ryan saying he's trying to get out of Hell's Gate. So when I tell you that this fight is going to be very interesting, we have a dilemma, right? Let's look beyond the fight just for 2 seconds here. If Ryan wins, that contract is null and void of Ryan walking away. And that means what? That means that Ryan's a champion. And that means Ryan has to stay with Golden Boy. And that means Ryan telling everybody that his contract is over and we're out of here is no longer going to happen. So now this plays a part. Does Ryan throw the fight? Does Ryan want that other loss, or does he want to walk out with a belt and have to stay with Golden Boy? That's the question. And I think Ryan's really dealing with this, and he's meditating on it right now as we speak. Ryan is definitely the person that should win this fight, but I'm not sleeping past Barrios. I think Barrios has something to prove just as well as everybody else. Barrios has the length on Ryan. He has the capabilities of jabbing him from the outside. He's a great inside fighter. He's not afraid to get inside and fight on the front foot. But here's the thing. Barrios is going to utilize his skill set. He's going to treat Ryan just like Ugas. And you're going to see a whole different fighter. You're going to see Ryan probably touch the canvas again. Don't be surprised if Barrios walks out of this fight still the champion. And we're looking at that fight in May with our boy DHP on that card that they're talking about. So salute. I'm picking Barrios on this fight with the victory. And I got him winning clean. The story on the cards, by the way.
Hey, before you go, Clay, real quick, Ray Davis. The funny thing to me is that Ryan Garcia, win or lose, has so many options, man. It's not just DHP anymore. So, and DHP really should be the one wanting the Ryan Garcia fight, whether Ryan wins or loses. But man, Ryan,
if he loses,
life looks good for you, Ryan, because
Ryan without a doubt has options, man. I like what Ray was saying as far as the whole entire Oscar De La Hoya situation, that relationship. But I think putting that to the side, Ryan Garcia, to me, I'm looking to see the wrinkles. I want to see there's things I'm looking for in this fight. I'm leaning towards Ryan Garcia to win this fight. Of course, this is a 55-45, maybe 60-40 type of thing where I'm favoring Ryan Garcia to win this fight. But I'm looking for the wrinkles. I'm looking for the adjustments. I'm looking for Joe Goosen's influence on Mario Barrios, the ability to take away that left hook. And, if it's going to be the right hook that catches him, I want to see that. I want to see something different. I want Ryan to show levels to himself and wrinkles to himself, and I want him to be tested. And I think a lot of that is going to have to do with what Mario Barrios is able to force him to do. Rolly Romero took away that left hook, left him handicapped, hurt him, and Ryan Garcia threw his hands in his pockets, lost all motivation to compete in that fight, went the full 12 rounds, but lost very unanimously to a Rolly Romero who's a C+ boxer. Now, Mario Barrios, is he an A+ boxer? No, let's not be ridiculous. But I think he's B+ maybe on his good nights, right? Let's see if Joe Goosen can get him up to a B+. If he's a B, let's see if Joe can get him to a B+. And let's see if he can have some A moments in this fight and capitalize. If he's able to, let's see if the power of Ryan Garcia translates to 147. The last time we saw his power was at 140 pounds against Devin Haney. This one right here, 147, different division, different fighters, bigger. Amari Barrios, one of the biggest fighters I think I've ever seen Ryan Garcia in the ring with, next to a Luke Campbell and a Devin Haney. He seemed to always have that reach advantage, the ability to fight tall. Will Ryan Garcia close the gap in that backing up with his chin up in the air situation? And will Goosen make sure that Mario Barrios is in position to take advantage of that if Ryan Garcia presents that opportunity? I think this is a 55-45 fight, maybe 60-40 Ryan Garcia. I could see a stoppage in this one. If it goes to decision, I'm leaning more towards Mario Barrios on the decision. I'm leaning towards Ryan Garcia to get the stoppage on this one. That's how I see it, man. I don't know, though. We all will be way more on point with what's going on with hindsight. The day after, it'll be a lot clearer at what this card presents. You know what I mean?
Ray, I missed it. Who did you pick? Because I got Ryan. Clay got Mario Barrios by decision, right? Clay, that's
by stoppage. I'm leaning towards Ryan Garcia to win this fight by stoppage.
I got clean decision by Barrios.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
I think he puts Ryan down.
Oh, okay. Wow. Hey, I love it. I love it for us to come back on the next show and talk about it, because so far I just want to say, Ray, I just want you to remember that when 2026 started, I've been right. I just want to make sure that you knew that. I've been right on a lot of these things, man.
I think I had one fight I've been off on, right?
The big one was definitely Matias and Dalton Smith.
That was a big one. That was a big one.
I was on that, right? I was on that same thing, right? I think I picked that. I think I only been off one fight, and that's the only reason why.
I don't know, man. We're gonna have to go back.
No, I picked the upset with Keyshawn and what's the name, Clay? That's it, right? That's the only fight I was off. And the only
that's right. You did pick Jermaine Ortiz.
Only fight I was off. Every fight I've been on the winning streak.
Hey, Blaze, I got Ryan by knockout, TKO or knockout. It's gonna be the right hand. That's what I said. So, hey, before we go, Clay, because I know it's that time. This is such big news. Talk Sports Live right now doing our own special episode about the Conor Benn thing. So this is the actual statement from, first of all, contract. Chris Mannix is reporting that Conor Benn's deal with Zuffa Boxing is a 1-fight, 8-figure deal. 8 figures.
That's crazy.
And then it goes, life-changing money for Ben with a chance to hit free agency after his next fight. So to Ray Davis's point that he made earlier when we were breaking the news live, as it was literally happening minutes from the announcement. So if you guys joined us earlier, you'll like that part of the show. If you did not, please watch the replay. Please hit the like buttons. Please subscribe and share, everybody. But Ray, you might be right. Eddie might have known about this and said, Eddie's never been the guy to say, hey, if you can get more money, go get more money, right? He did it with Anthony Joshua with Netflix. He did it with Katie Taylor. So maybe he did know, right? Maybe you're onto something. And then the second thing is Conor Benn's official statement is, first and foremost, I want to thank Eddie and the entire team at Matchroom for everything they've done for me over the past decade, from guiding me when I first turned pro to headlining stadium show. They were not only with me for those highlight moments, but stood shoulder to shoulder with me during the tough times. It's been a journey beyond anything we could have imagined, and for their belief, support, and guidance, I will always be truly grateful. But Zuffa Boxing presented me with an opportunity I simply couldn't refuse. I'd love Eddie to continue to be part of my team, and for our partnership to evolve in this new chapter. I'm filled with excitement and hunger for what's ahead with Zuffa Boxing. I want the legacy fights, the biggest nights, the biggest stages. I fear no man at any weight, and I'm ready to give the fans the fight they've been calling for. I'm in my prime, and together we have bold, ambitious plans.
Listen, I was going to say Eddie might be his manager. I was going to say that, but I didn't want to speak before I knew anything. Just as a speculation, that sounds like what's going to happen.
Yeah, let me tell you, man. Eddie reached out to Dana White 2 weeks ago. Dana White told the world, you know what I mean, that he did reach out, and you know, and that there was a conversation happening between them. I think the banter is very there's a very sportsman-like energy between them. Eddie saying that's your daddy. You know, Dana White's resentment is towards Oscar. It's never really been towards Eddie, but it's been very competitive with Eddie. Eddie's always made clear from day one, we're going to compete. Whether you like it or not, I'm coming for that spot. Especially, we're both working for Turkey. We're fighting for daddy's attention. We're fighting for daddy's love. We ain't playing no games out here. And I think, you know, Dana has been lighthearted about it, but like, bro, it really ain't no competition. He's dead ass serious about that. Like, you ain't competing with me, bro. But Eddie's like, yeah, I'm gonna make you say my name, and you're gonna see. All right, keep thinking shit is sweet. But at the same time, there's two sides. They are two sides to the same coin, and that coin is Riyadh season Turkey Al-Sheikh, without a doubt. So it doesn't shock me at all that these guys could be working out, man. Guys, I appreciate you guys being on the show today with me again, as always, man. We always doing it big over here, covering it up. Hope we gave you guys some content worth talking about, some thought-provoking perspective on what we're going to be looking at tomorrow. More importantly, tomorrow, tap in here. We'll be covering the sport boxing like I love to do. You guys know I love to call the fights. Be starting off probably about closer to about 4 o'clock or so.
Really?
2 or 4 o'clock. I don't know.
Last time I checked, Claymore, you were going to cover Wood Warrington.
No, I'm going to cover the main event
with Leo Atang. So we're looking at Claymore Rain coming on at 2 p.m. Eastern time.
That's the time. Okay.
Yeah, about 2 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay, so that's what I was trying to figure out. So
wake your ass up, bro.
Hey, bro, listen. And by the way, you guys, man, show up. Put the likes in the building, subscribe to the channel. Let's make sure there's color in the channel tomorrow, because I'm working the third shift, coming up, waking up, jumping right back into this situation. So show me some love. You guys know I'm going to show it back. I'm going to pay it back in dividends in the blow by blow calls. And we're going to have a good time, man. Big time fight party, man. I appreciate all you guys, man. It's that ATP Combat Media, man. Also known as the Rain Report. I appreciate all you guys again, man. Thanks for supporting the channel. Hold on. Sam from New Jersey in the building says, thank you guys. Love the live, great boxing talk. No doubt, man. Appreciate the color in the channel. And thank you to Sean Phil, who showed some love today, and Sam from Jersey showed a little bit of love earlier as well, man. Thanks for the color in the chat and supporting the channel. Until the next one, this is that ATP Combat Media. It's the Rain Report. It's Claymore Rain. It's Ray Davis. It's Angelo Reyes, the usual suspects. And until the next one, at this point, we out.
They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces. That mean you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitting for it, cause you all cap like. Hold up, I shoot my shot. Wait, hold up. I'm really about to run this go up. You know it's all net when it go up.